Conditions are perfect for baseball here on a sun-drenched Sunday as the Orleans Firebirds will look to kick off the second half of the season with a bang and protect Eldridge Park against their Eastern Division rival, the Brewster Whitecaps. And with that, we welcome you into the Bird Talk pregame show. I'm Braden Bell, joined alongside Josh White. And Josh, a disappointing game last night for Orleans. After winning two straight, the Bourne Braves kind of ousted all momentum the Firebirds had. In a 7-2 loss, the Firebirds were unable to get really anything going offensively, and the pitching staff struggled as well. So kind of a step back after two steps forward, if you will.
Yeah, from the get-go, you could just tell Orleans pitching was not there. Eric Miller in the first and second innings just did not look like himself. 2+ innings of work, gave up 3 runs, walked 4 guys, loaded the bases to start the game in the bottom of the first, and just from there on, it was an ugly start for the Birds, and that continued the entire afternoon.
And so, like you said, it really was Bourne breaking the game open late. Sure, it was the Braves controlling it for the most part, but they scored 4 runs in the 7th and 8th inning to make the score look a little worse than it really was. But at the end of the day, a loss is a loss, and there's nothing more you really need to know about that game in Bourne. So the Birds now 8-13-1, and they're taking on the team tonight they're ahead of in the Eastern Division, and really the key spot of the season, if you will, staying ahead of Brewster if you're a Firebird fan right now. That, of course, means playoff baseball and a chance, who knows, to make a run and try to win it all. That's what those Whitecaps did exactly last year. They had a .500 regular season record, got hot at the right time, and carried it all the way through. So we'll see whether or not the Birds can clinch the season series over Brewster. They are 2-0-1 against the Whitecaps so far on this young season. A win tonight would obviously clinch it as they play each other 6 times. So, Josh, before we go too deep into tonight's game specifically, let's look back at the first 22 games. It was a inconsistent stretch of ball games for the Firebirds. There were some highlights. There were some lowlights with Indeed. So I kind of want to get your opinion on the first half as a whole, like an overall assessment of what the Firebirds did in the first 22 games.
Yeah, Braden, obviously an up and down 22. The Birds had to overcome some adversity in certain points. They lost some guys they thought were going to be here a little longer. They had some guys arrive later than they thought would be here, so they've been battling through some of that. That's normal in the CCBL. They've gone on some highs with some win streaks. They've gone on some lows with some losing streaks. So I think for Orleans overall, I think obviously not a successful first half, not ideal of where they'd want to be, being 5 games below 500 halfway through. But I think when you look at what Kelly Nicholson has on the table now, some recent activations, some guys coming back from Team USA in a couple weeks, I think Orleans could be poised for a little bit of a run in the second half.
We saw Kelly Nicholson before first pitch today, hours before the game, walking around Eldridge Park, and he seemed to be in pretty good spirits. So a new day, a new chapter in the season, if you will, and you got to look for silver linings at some point. Both of these teams need to do that. Of course, Brewster just 4-16-3, so they're struggling even worse than Orleans so far this season. So now we'll get into specifics for tonight's game. It'll be Cade Meckles getting the ball for Orleans against Bobby Miller, the pitcher for the Brewster Whitecaps. And Cade has really surprised. He's been one of the most pleasant surprises for this Firebird roster so far this season. Do you expect him to continue that on today? Because he's really shown no cracks of slowing down.
Yeah, I think what we've seen from Cade, like you mentioned, has been a little bit of a surprise. But like we've talked about from the get-go, I mean, that's kind of how this season goes, is you get everyone's here for a reason, whether it's a guy who's great on defense, guy that has a great breaking ball, maybe not a big-time school, but he's a guy that can really pitch. He's pitched very well so far for the Birds through his first 4 appearances, holding opponents just a .185 average, and it's really been that changeup has been the key for him through his first few outings. We'll see if that continues today against Brewster.
And on the other end, you got Bobby Miller, the young man from Louisville, a college teammate of Logan Wyatt and Justin Levy. Logan in the lineup for Orleans. Justin is not, but those guys know him very well, and obviously that would be something you would talk about often with your teammates on the Firebirds. It's kind of a scouting report. It's a big-time advantage when a hitter from the other roster knows the starting pitcher so well. And so Bobby, who has struggled so far this year, making his first start of the summer, ERA just a touch over 7. We'll see if the Firebirds can drive up that ERA even more tonight. And that's a much-needed attribute of this Firebirds team is consistent offense.
Yeah, big right-hander from Louisville, like you mentioned. Has not had the best start through his first 10 innings this summer, but is as talented as they come in the country. A freshman All-American this past season for the Cardinals. He's got great velocity, got roughed up his last time at Bourne, but I think he's poised for a big-time comeback. And as we always talk about, when you face your college teammates, you kind of give the scouting report to the rest of the team in your dugout, so it'll be interesting to see how the Birds respond against Miller.
So we'll see how those two starting pitchers do in just a matter of moments, about 10 minutes from first pitch here at Eldridge Park. But now we'll get to some roster news. Of course, Riley Ornito, who has been very strong for the Firebirds, was deactivated today as his innings limit was reached. The young man from the University of San Francisco will be leaving the club, but there is some good news to go along with that. The activation of Mitchell Senger, the young man from Stetson, and that is a big-time pickup for the Orleans Firebirds. The southpaw out of Stetson, one of the finest pitchers in the country, and a huge acquisition, one that many Firebird fans and media members alike did not think would happen because he was on Team USA. He has a high innings limit as well, and it's a pleasant surprise to see him here in Orleans. He'll be tomorrow's starting pitcher against Chatham.
Yeah, I think if you told any Firebird fan about a month ago, you wouldn't think Mitchell Sanger would be in the Orleans Red this summer. He was tabbed by Team USA. Thought it was a foregone conclusion he'd practically make the roster. For whatever reason, things didn't pan out in his direction in that regard. He's here in Orleans, activated a few hours ago, and now ready to pitch against Chatham tomorrow at Veterans Field. And it's exactly kind of the boost that the Firebirds need the second half of the year. They're going to have Sanger in the rotation. Stinson should be coming back. Jovan should be coming back. Lancelotti has been very good in the rotation. Abbott's got another start or two in him. So there's plenty of arms on this team at the moment that could propel the Birds to some wins down the stretch.
Pitching is a staple of excellence for the Orleans Firebirds club, and we'll see if that can improve even more so in the second half of the season with Mitchell Senger being activated. But, like we mentioned earlier, that means the end of the season for Riley Ornito, and he had a very strong time this summer for the Orleans Firebirds. A very nice young man, and performed well for Kelly Nicholson and company in 3 starts, had an ERA just over 2. He did a great job, and before he sends off tomorrow to head back to the West Coast, he had a chance to chat with our very own Eliav Gabay about his time at Orleans and much more on his experience here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Great stuff, as always, from our very own Eliav Gavai, sitting down with Riley Ornito. And I think the one main takeaway I had from that interview with Riley was the fact that he talked about becoming smarter with the game, the IQ increasing. And that's something you hear often from pitchers in this league. There's obviously great pitching coaches here in Orleans, but going against guys with wood bats and, frankly, just great lineups each and every day has to improve your mental IQ.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you talked about, Kelly Nicholson, Jamie Quinn, 2 of the finest pitching coaches, if you will, in the CCBL. And one of the big things that Kelly stresses, obviously the huge mental side in the game of baseball, and Riley talked about how he grew in that department. But towards the beginning of the season, Kelly spoke about how pitchers are going to be at an advantage in the beginning parts of the season, attacking inside, and Riley did that through his first few starts. It's a shame to see him go home. Obviously, the Birds understand he's got an innings limit from his coaches at SF, so it is what it is, but a fantastic job for Riley Ornito. Hope his travels go well the rest of the summer and into the future.
And a fine young man. We look forward to seeing how his career plays out, but certainly was a great time at Eldridge Park when Riley Ornito was on the bump. All right, now time for our favorite segment of the Bird Talk pregame show. It, of course, is the Bird Watch. Josh, you're on the hot seat yet again. You're going to select one player from each side. It's going to excel on the diamond tonight. It's the same intro every game, but I'm hoping for a bold selection tonight from you. So who you got?
Give me a guy from the Conference of Champions.
Ooh.
From Arizona State. Hunter Bishop. Give it to me. Hunter Bishop struggling a little bit towards the top of the Cape and strikeout second, but I think he's going to have an extra base hit tonight. I'm going to take Bishop for an extra bagger. He looked good in BP. Tall kid. Stu Murray was raving about the guy. I'm going to take Hunter Bishop on the Brewster side. Ooh, this is tough. Give me Spencer Steer on the Orleans side.
That's a safe pick. So
back in the lineup.
Conference of Champions.
Two Conference of Champions guys.
Wow.
Yes, Pac-12. I'm riding with it. Forks up. Give me Spencer Steer, Eldridge Park phenom, if you will, batting .357 at home.
There's been a lot of wild moments in the first 22 games, but we started off the second half with Josh White saying forks up on the broadcast, and I think that will not be topped the rest of the way. All right, that does it for the Bird Talk pregame show. First pitch, starting lineups coming up next. It's the Birds and the Whitecaps of the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Orleans Firebirds baseball is live on the air. We welcome you inside Eldridge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts, as the Firebirds are set to take on the Brewster Whitecaps on a glorious Sunday for baseball here at Eldridge Park. I'm Braden Bill, joined alongside Josh White. And Josh, here we are as the Birds look to bounce back after a tough loss at the hands of the Bourne Braves last night. And it will be Cade Meckles getting the ball for Orleans, the right-hander who will be attending GCU in the fall. Looking to continue on what he's been doing so far this season because he's been very strong for Orleans.
Yeah, Cade's been very good for Orleans. Made an appearance out of the bullpen and started 3 games as well for the Birds. Really been deceptive with that breaking ball, getting ahead of hitters with his fastball, and that's really been key for Cade.
We'll see what Meckles can do against this Brewster Whitecaps lineup. It reads as follows. Dominic Canzone will lead things off, followed by Mike Massey, Jesse Franklin, Connor Grammas, Hunter Bishop, who is the Bird Watch of the day, Cameron Eden, Justin Ammons, Joe Donovan, and Ike Freeman, rounding out the starting 9 for the Brewster Whitecaps. So Meckles, the right-hander from McMinnon, Oregon, will get us going here on a beautiful Sunday. Hardly a cloud in the sky here at Orleans, Massachusetts. The first pitch from the right-hander, a fastball that'll run inside for ball 1 at 5:30 on the dot. And we're off and rolling from Eldridge. So Meckles so far in 14 2/3 innings as he gets a fastball, a swing and a miss by Canzo, and an ERA just over 6. And as we mentioned in the pregame show, really a pleasant surprise thus far for the Orleans Firebirds, a guy that not many of us knew about, but he's excelling. The 0-2 pitch is fouled off by Canzone, and it stays there at 0-2.
Braden, I think kind of the funny point about it is you got to dig 3 or 4 pages to find his Skagit Valley stats. That tells you all you need to know about the kid.
Not playing at a big-time school. Next year he will be, as the 0-2 pitch fouled off again. And GCU, a growing baseball program, a brand new university and stadium for the baseball team in Phoenix, Arizona. And looking like the Lopes will be getting a good one in the fall. Comes the 0-2 pitch to Canzone on the leadoff batter of the evening. It's going to be popped up to left field. Should be playable for Carter Aldretti, who is spending his time in left tonight. He makes the catch for out number 1, and that gives us a good opportunity to introduce you to the rest of the defense for the Orleans Firebirds. It's Aldretti in left, moving from his usual position in the middle infield. Pat DeMarco, J.J. Blade, the 2 Vandy Birds playing center and right. And the infield from left to right will be Steer, Gazzo, Andrew Martinez, and Logan Wyatt. And the battery mate with Cade Meckles is Phil Clark, also from Vanderbilt. It'll be Mike Massey, who has had a tale of 2 seasons. If you cut up the first half in 2 halves, the first part of the season was phenomenal. The second half, not so much. His numbers have faded extremely. He was the leading hitter in the CCBL through the first 15 games. Now his average just at .301 as the count is 1-1 to him.
Yeah, we can break it down into quarters like Kelly Nicholson was kind of joking about before the game. He came in, fired up guy, energetic. Third quarter starts now, the second half of the season.
Comes a 1-1 pitch, popped up to the right side. Blade is there, takes a few steps forward and makes the catch for out number 2. So 2 simple flyouts, and Meckles, a guy who can strike out multiple batters, but sometimes just relies on getting fly balls. That's what he's done so far here tonight, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, and a lot of lefties towards the top of this Brewster lineup. The first 3 batters, all lefties, 4 of the first 5 swinging from that left side. So it'll be interesting to see how much Meckles uses that changeup, especially with lefty bats.
So it'll be Jesse Franklin digging in, and the top 3 hitters in this Brewster lineup, all from the Big Ten. Ohio State, Illinois, and now Jesse Franklin from Michigan as he looks at a fastball in the outside corner for ball number 1. I mentioned the weather. It truly is outstanding. The humidity has been down the past 2 days, which has made for very pleasant weather indeed. A third pop out of the inning should be out number 3. J.J. Blade circles under it, makes the catch, and the side is retired. So Cade Meckles stays in check. Just 9 pitches to retire the Whitecaps in the top of the first. And it'll be the Firebirds' turn coming up next. It'll be DeMarco, Blade, and Steer. Can the Birds get something going offensively? We'll find out next on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park. We'll give you the starting lineup for the Orleans Firebirds as presented by manager Kelly Nicholson. Leading things off once again, the usual leadoff batter for the Firebirds, Pat DeMarco, playing center field. It'll be J.J. Blade in right field, followed by Spencer Steer, who will return to the lineup for the first time in 3 days. Logan Wyatt in the cleanup hole. He's looking to break out of a minor rut. Followed by Nick Osborne, the hottest hitter in this Firebird lineup, the DH once again. Phil Clark will bat 6th and be the catcher, followed by Carter Aldretti, Sal Gazzo, and Andrew Martinez, rounding out the starting 9. They'll be taking on Bobby Miller, From Louisville, his first start of the summer for the Whitecaps. So far in relief, 3 games, a 7.20 ERA. And he has struggled, hitters hitting .341 off of him. So we'll see if the Birds can keep up with that trend and get the offense going early on a Sunday evening.
You always got to wonder for pitchers that are mainly used as relievers in college if there's a little bit of an adjustment going the other way, and we'll see how that impacts Miller. Miller spent half the season in the bullpen, half in the starting rotation for the Cardinals, but really that back end of the park during the ACC stretch where he faced better hitters, he was in the starting rotation, so probably a comfortable spot for Miller.
So Pat DeMarco will step in and lead things off for Kelly Nicholson and company. Pat has been struggling so far. He was 1 for 4 with a strikeout against Bourne last night. He looks at a fastball high and outside for ball number 1. Pat has been consistent in reaching base at least once a game. It's been those other 3 at-bats, if you will, that he struggled with for the Firebirds. The 1-0 pitch from Bobby Miller, another fastball that's cut on and missed. The count now goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. We mentioned in the open how this is a battle for the cellar, if you will, and even though that might seem like sarcasm, it really is important in the CCBL. 8 of the 10 teams make the playoffs. Orleans at that cutoff spot right now, as DeMarco was just nicked on the forearm with a breaking ball that ran high. The leadoff batter reaches for Orleans in the form of a hit by pitch.
Yeah, any way you can get it if you're Orleans, you'll take it right now, especially with the offense struggling a little bit last night. You bring J.J. Boudet, one of the best hitters in the CCBL, up with a guy with plenty of speed now on first base with a free pass.
J.J., a special moment last night for the Firebirds, the first triple of the season. It came in the top of the first inning on a ball to the right center field gap, and so Boudet, who's been a spark plug, still third in the league in hitting at .361 through his first 15 games, looks at a fastball in there for a strike. Bob Gardner made the call there. He's behind the plate, and the umpire tonight. Tom Carey at first base and Bill Pompa over at third. Boudet, the left-handed batter from Vanderbilt, ready for the 0-1 pitch with DeMarco standing at first. Boudet swings away right at the left fielder, Canzone, who makes the catch at the chest for out number 1.
Good wood by Boudet. Stroked it on a line the opposite way, but right at the left fielder in Canzone, who's got good speed out there, good defender. And if you're Boudet, a tough break, but you go back to the dugout with a little bit of confidence heading into your next AB.
Now it's Spencer Steer. Home sweet home has been the story for Spencer so far. He's been roasting at Eldridge Park all year long. On the road, not so much. So Spencer back in the lineup after a few days off. It was undisclosed why he did not play, but all that matters is he's back now, and the Birds love to have him in that 3 hole as he looks at a breaking ball in the outside corner for strike number 1. Spencer kind of had been that guy to really extend the strength of this lineup. There had yet to been someone to find a role in the 3 hole of the lineup. Steer looks to be that guy, and the Birds love to have him back there tonight. Comes the 0-1 pitch from Bobby Miller. Low into the dirt for ball number 1. DeMarco won't run after a good stop from Donovan, and that'll give us a chance to give the defensive alignment for Brewster. It'll be Canzone, Bishop, and Ammons left to right of the outfield. Eden, Freeman, Massey, and Franklin at first base. And Joe Donovan doing the catching for the Brewster Whitecaps, who come into the game with the worst record in the CCBL, just 4-16-3. Comes the 1-1 pitch. Steer looks at a fastball on the inside part of the plate for strike number 2, and Brewster picked up that third tie last night against the team that leads the division and is tied for the most points in the league, the Whitey Red Sox. The Whitecaps gave that game away. They were up 6-0 at a point early on. Came back to just tie as a pickoff, and DeMarco dives back in head first. He's safe.
Yeah, and if you're a struggling team like that and you jump out to an early lead, 6-0 after 2 innings against YD, you're cruising along at home thinking you're going to pick up a very important win through the first half of the season. It's a tough one to drop, especially only having 4 wins the first 23 games.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Steer will swing away to the right side, fielded by the second baseman Massey. The flip by Freeman in time for a good old-fashioned 4-6-3 double play. And the Birds can't do anything after the leadoff man reaches by a hit by pitch. We're through 1 complete inning here at Eldridge Park, scoreless on a picture-perfect Sunday night for baseball. We'll be right back on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. us through the first frame between the Whitecaps and Firebirds. Braden Mill, Josh White on the call on a Sunday evening between Orleans and Brewster. Going back to the East Division standings, it's actually might surprise some people that Orleans is closer to Chatham than they are Brewster. Seems like everyone's been paying close attention to the Whitecaps as the first pitch a strike in there to Connor Gramus, the DH tonight. But sure enough, Orleans closer to their rivals, the Chatham Anglers, to third place. Comes the 0-1 pitch from Meckles, fouled off above the hill towards Nosson Middle School, and it's quickly 0-2 as Meckles continues to pound the strike zone, something that was a problem last night for Eric Miller, the starting pitcher. And just like hitting can be contagious, sometimes control for a pitching staff can be as well. That certainly seemed to spread to the relievers as well as the 0-2 pitch jacked out to left field. Back is Aldretti. He will stop, and it is gone. A leadoff home run of the second inning by Connor Gramus. And the Whitecaps jump out in front here after Gramus's fourth home run of the summer, a no-doubt shot to left.
And this is a team that has struggled with the long ball, just tied for the third fewest home runs with 10 entering the day, making 11 now on the long ball by Gramus. He actually tattooed that ball. That was a moonshot, no doubt, off the bat by Gramus. All Carter Aldretti could do was turn and watch and wave it goodbye.
Aldretti, like you said, took about 2 steps, looked up, and did not bother to go any further. So Meckles is tagged for a run here early on. And ball went a fastball high to Hunter Bishop, who is the bird watch of the day. Another guy who can pack quite a bit of power into a swing. A big guy, 6'5", 210, originally from Palo Alto, California. Playing his college ball at Arizona State. He looks at a fastball low. It's 2 balls and no strikes, and that'll draw Phil Clark out to chat with Cade Meckles.
You always got to wonder for a pitcher from a small school if maybe the nerves get to you with a lot of scouts in attendance, a lot of fans on the hill. Just gave up a home run to a Power 5 conference hitter, and kind of regroup and get back on the schneid and get things going in the right direction.
2 balls and no strikes. Meckles will kick and fire the fastball that is in there for strike number 1. Bishop, a very interesting story. I mentioned his figure at 6'5", 210. A very good football player in high school in Palo Alto. Had a spot on the University of Washington's football team as a preferred walk-on as a wide receiver. His brother was there at the time as Bishop swings away. Popped foul, Logan Wyatt giving chase, and he will be called off by the second baseman. A fine catch by Andrew Martinez, his first start of the summer for Orleans at second base. He makes the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, it's good to see Martinez out there again. Was activated just a few days ago by the Birds after starting the season with YD. Playing second base today after manning shortstop yesterday. Making a good play, showing some good range near the netting down the right field line.
Now it's another Pac-12 representee in the Brewster lineup. It's Cameron Eden, the third baseman from Cal Berkeley. As Meckles tries to work around that leadoff home run just moments ago to Gramus. He delivers a strike 1 and a fastball in the outside corner to Eden, who has been a mainstay in this lineup so far. Appeared in 17 games for the Brewster Whitecaps, a .269 average. As a curveball buckles the knees of Eden, it's now 0-2. So Meckles, besides that 1 pitch, has looked strong for Orleans, but it was a big-time mistake, and that's why it's 1-0 Whitecaps at this point. Early on, here at Eldridge Park. No balls and 2 strikes. Meckles kicks and fires. Fastball runs high above the letters. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Eden from Tuba City, California, so staying at his home state for college ball. Tuba City a little different than Berkeley, safe to say. But California nonetheless. The 1-2 pitch. He's going to swing away. Pop it up left side. Aldretti will range forward a few steps. Battle the wind and make the catch for out number 2. And a good time now to give you the weather report. And as I've mentioned multiple times already, it is a beautiful night for baseball. 72 degrees at first pitch. That's ideal indeed. 6-mile-per-hour wind out of the southeast. And tough to find a real cloud in the sky. Humidity also down, which is pleasant for everyone here in attendance watching. We've been warned it's coming back at the end of the week, so brace yourselves if you're in the Cape Cod area. 2 away now, and it'll be Justin Ammons, the right fielder. Batting from the left side, looking at a fastball low near the shoe tops. And Ammons, who will be attending Tennessee, is ahead in the count 1-0. Cade Meckles trying to get out of the second inning with only 1 run scored as Ammons fouls that pitch off back to the net right in front of us. The count goes to 1-1. You want to talk about scenery change one summer to the next. Ammons last year was in the Alaska Baseball League with the Matsu Miners. So from as far west as you can go, really, in the North American continent, now you go to Cape Cod, which is about as far east as you can in the United States as least. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ammons will swing away, pop it up to the right side, ranging back is Blade. He has room in front of the catch and makes the play to retire the side. So Meckles, a fly ball pitcher so far through the first 7 batters. The problem is 1 went over the fence, and that leads to a 1-0 score for the Brewster Whitecaps as we're through an inning and a half here at Eldridge Park. We'll see if the Firebirds can respond. Coming up next on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park, and I mentioned the weather 72 degrees, and it's a beautiful time to cool off a bit. Big thank you to the local Scoop. They provided ice cream for us right before first pitch. I will say it was tough to eat ice cream and broadcast, but we both made it through somehow. Big thank you to them for always being very gracious hosts to the Firebirds media team, and if you're at Eldridge Park, try the local Scoop. It is a fine establishment for ice cream as Logan Wyatt will step into the box and lead things off for Orleans. A teammate on teammate battle. Your favorite thing in the world, Josh Wyatt, is 2 Louisville Cardinals going at it. Logan looking to turn things around. Of course, it was against Brewster that he was hit by a pitch as Wyatt looks at a breaking ball low for ball number 1. Back on June 25th, he was red hot at the time. Ever since that happened, he missed a few games due to injury. He just hasn't really been the same guy for Orleans, and this is someone Kelly Nicholson and company desperately need to provide a big-time pop in the cleanup spot. The everyday first baseman playing in his 21st game so far. Pitch outside for ball number 2. The count now 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, he's just 2 for his last 14. Was batting .366 before that stretch.
The 2-0 pitch, a fastball that runs low. Wyatt has actually nicked by it, and go figure. The 6th time he's been hit by a pitch so far this season. And another leadoff batter is aboard for Orleans here in the second.
Logan Wyatt just finding ways to get on base like he always does. That OBP really high and just finds a way to get on. Entered the night, tied for 3rd in walks, 4th in OBP. Again, finds a way to get on and sets up a good spot for Nick Osborne, who's been red hot for the Birds.
He is the Bird on fire right now. Offensively on the mound, he's been doing it all. And right on cue, a high fly ball to center field. But the 4:34 mark at Eldridge Park ate up that ball, and Hunter Bishop able to make the catch for out number 1. Osborne put a ride into it, but it was just eaten up out there at center field.
Yeah, take that swing, move it about 60 feet to the left, and that ball probably kicks out of here. He gave that ball right out to left field, or center field, I should say, but dead center here at Eldridge Park, 4:34, like you mentioned, wind not blowing out. The legend is Frank Thomas has only hit one over the fence, so Nick Osborne not quite the same player as the Big Hurt.
Osborne has been fantastic, but yes, Frank Thomas a little more power in that bat. As there's one away, and Phil Clark, the catcher, another one of those Vandy birds for Kelly Nicholson, steps in from the left side. Clark has been up and down at the plate, just 209. Has yet to really get anything consistent going, and he's one of those guys that was brought in from Vanderbilt with very high expectations from everyone. The pressure obviously high on every single player on this roster, but even more on these guys from bigger schools. Logan Wyatt leads off first base, and Clark puts a drive into it out to left field. A liner that's caught near the waist of Canzone. So a tough break for Phil Clark as he squared up that baseball just right at Canzone, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, one of the better swings from Clark over the last few games, but like you mentioned, just kind of found the wrong spot. He's been a guy that's really struggled against Brewster so far this summer, 0 for his first 8 against the Whitecaps.
So now it's Carter Aldretti who will dig in from the right side, rocking the cleats of Orleans teammate Kenyon Yovan, who is away at Team USA right now. We've commented on them before. They are chrome Nike cleats with red piping. Really a good-looking pair of shoes indeed as he looks at a fastball high for ball number 1.
The Birds have Yovan's first baseman's glove in the first base dugout. Aldretti sporting the cleats. Now they just need Yovan here in person here at Eldridge Park.
Plenty of his apparel still left behind in Orleans. Carter Aldretti trying to make good use of it as the 1-0 pitch grounded to the left side, fielded by the third baseman Eden, who will take the short way to second. And a nice dig by Massey, saving an error from Brewster. And the side is retired. So 1 runner reaches base yet again for Orleans, but the Birds unable to do anything with it. And we are through 2 complete innings here at Eldridge Park with a score Brewster 1, Orleans nothing. We'll take a quick timeout. Be right back around the bend on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Time for the 3rd inning here at Eldridge Park. 1-0 Whitecaps over the Orleans Firebirds. Bradenville, Josh White on the call here as the second half of the season officially underway for Orleans. The first half flew by and was very inconsistent. The Firebirds hoping for better luck in the second half as they continue to try to move up in the Eastern Division. Right now in 4th place, 5 points behind the Chatham Anglers, 6 above Brewster for that final playoff spot. Meckles back out there for his 3rd inning of work. It delivers a fastball in there for strike number 1 to Joe Donovan, man who's doing the catching duty tonight for the Whitecaps. And Meckles has been a fly ball machine so far. As I ended last inning, he's faced 7 batters. All 7 have hit a ball into the air. 1 went over the fence, and that's the difference in the game as a breaking ball finds the top of the strike zone for strike number 2.
It's very interesting to see that from Cade so far. Has not necessarily been a fly ball pitcher through his first few outings, but for whatever reason leaving the ball up today against Brewster.
0-2 to Donovan. Meckles, a big-time bender that's battled off, fouled on top of the hill. The count stays at 0-2. Joe Donovan, who will be a sophomore next year in Ann Arbor, Michigan, playing for the Wolverines. Where's number 11 here for the Whitecaps? Where's number 0 in Michigan? A very interesting baseball number as he now tags a base hit through the left side, past the diving Steer, for a leadoff single here in the 3rd.
Donovan, a very talented hitter out of Michigan, like you mentioned, and was the bird watch last time these 2 teams met. He's a guy that obviously the numbers don't show how talented he is, but has been starting to swing a little better recently, and it gets a leadoff base hit with the struggling Freeman strolling to the dish.
So it is Ike Freeman, like you said, and the struggles for him have been paramount. Just 1 for his first 16 through his first 5 games for Brewster, and unfortunately that's been a trend for a lot of these Whitecaps hitters. A big reason why they've been struggling, just 4, 16, and 3 overall, but Freeman puts a charge into this one. Unfortunately for the Whitecaps, right at Carter Aldretti, who makes the catch easily for out number 1.
The struggles continue for Ike Freeman, and that happens a lot of the times to hitters that are in slumps. They'll put good at-bats together like that. Freeman swinging first pitch, it's a good line drive, but positioned perfectly as Carter Aldretti, and just kind of the unluckiness continues for Freeman.
So the lineup card flips over to the top. It's Dominic Canzone, the left fielder from Ohio State, who will dig in from the left side. He flew out to left field to kick off this ball game. Canzone squares to bunt, pulls back, and it's ball 1 high at a fastball, and this is something Brewster has been known to do to try to produce runs. It's the way they tied up the ball game the last times these two teams met. It was 2 sacrifice bunts, and the small ball paid off as Canzone ahead in the count 1-0. Will not bunt this time, instead swing away. A ground ball to left side, fielded by Gazzo. Martinez dropped the ball. It's not on the transfer, and everyone is safe. So the newest Firebird in the infield, not his prettiest plays ever made. Gazzo was there, had a great turn to second, but the ball was dropped by Martinez, and now there's 2 aboard.
Yeah, a guy that was sure-handed as ever at shortstop the other day makes an error on his first attempt at second base, and good throw by Gazzo. Just Martinez couldn't even secure it before stepping on the bag, and that creates some trouble with Massey, one of the best hitters in this lineup, digging in from the left side.
And it definitely was just one of those errors you won't see often from a player in the CCBL. It is called an E4. 2 aboard, and Phil Clark will come chat with his right-handed pitcher, Cade Meckles. So Mike Massey will dig in, and in the early parts of the season, you would say, oh no. Right now, not so much. The average still at 301, but that's mostly because of the great start to the year for him. He struggled at the plate and defensively. A guy who didn't have an error all season long, playing shortstop at Illinois, already has 6 this summer in just 20 games. The pressure of the CCBL can certainly be a thing. Massey swings away on the first pitch of the AB. It's going to be popped out to center field. Ranging in is DeMarco. He makes the catch. 1 pitch and 1 out there as the jam was a thing for a moment. Now there's 2 away, and Meckles just 1 out away from escaping this.
And Meckles got a little lucky there, left that pitch up to Massey, got under it, routine can of corn for DeMarco in center, but for whatever reason so far, Cade leaving a lot of balls up in the zone, something we did not see him do the first few starts. He's got to find a way to bring it down, try and get a ground ball out to get out of the inning.
2 ground balls so far off the bats of for the Whitecaps, Both of them have been able to reach. Of course, the single by Donovan this inning, and then Canzone grounded that ball to shortstop that resulted in an error. Breaking ball, and a fine one at that Jesse Franklin swings over the top of for strike number 1. Franklin, the big first baseman for the Whitecaps, 0-for-1 so far. You guessed it, flew out in his first AB to right field. So Meckles trying to work through a bit of trouble here in the 3rd inning. The Whitecaps already on top 1-0. Comes the pitch from Meckles, another bender that swung over the top of by Franklin, and it's quickly 0-2.
Yeah, and both of these pitches, both these breaking balls have been lower in the zone, and Franklin's been caught out in front. That's where Meckles is at his best. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a 3rd one right here ahead 0-2.
Meckles trying to escape the jam and pick up his first strikeout of the night at the same time. Comes the 0-2 pitch to Jesse Franklin. The right-hander kicks and fires. Got him, strike number 3, the first strikeout of the night for Cade Meckles, and the side is retired. So no runs on 1 hit, 1 error, 2 runners left aboard, and the Birds will look to respond in the home half of the 3rd, trailing 1-0 against the Brewster Whitecaps. We'll be right back on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. The Beach House Grill at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa is the perfect spot for a seaside lunch or evening dinner. A proud member of the leading hotels of the world and a proud sponsor of the Orleans Firebirds, so we thank Chatham Bars Inn for their continued support as we welcome you back to Eldridge Park. The Brewster Whitecaps on top of the Orleans Firebirds 1-0. Bradenville, Josh White on the call. And Josh, the Birds' offense has been slow as of late, and the struggles have continued so far. They've had 2 base runners, just unable to get anything going, and that's really the story of the summer so far, the inability to cash in with runners aboard.
Yeah, their second fewest runs scored coming into the day, 84 runs for the Birds to their first 22 games. The first half of the season, and Brewster, the only team that's worse in doing that department with 80, but it's been Orleans that has found a way to get runners on base. They just can't bring them home. They've relied a lot on the long ball. Spencer Steer, Logan Wyatt, Nick Osborne, 3 guys that are in the top 10 in home runs this season, but when those long balls aren't flying out of the yard, it's been tough for the Birds to put some runs on the scoreboard.
So leading off for Orleans and trying to do just that, get something going offensively, will be Sal Gazzo, the shortstop, and what a story he has been, especially especially last game for Orleans. He's now just 2 for his last 30 with a home run, and that home run was big time. It was out of nowhere, complete shock of sorts. But Gazzo lined a ball over the right field bullpen. He's going to swing away on the first pitch of this inning, pop it up to center field. The catch is made by Hunter Bishop. Shoulder level for out number 1.
And Gazzo just has not had the bat working for him. Got off to a hot start, 7 for his first 14. Now drops to 2 for his last 31. But really, if you're Kelly Nicholson, all you need from Gazzo is just that sure-handed defensive prowess at shortstop. He'll pretty much be an everyday start over there on the left side.
So now it's Andrew Martinez, who had his fair share of troubles in the field last inning for Orleans, was charged with that error as he dropped the ball from Sal Gazzo, and he looks at a strike one on a breaking pitch that found the zone. As Bobby Miller, command has been the only issue so far. He's hit a batter and also walked one, and here, right on cue, he hits his second. And Andrew Martinez, who has been susceptible of being hit by pitches, he's tied for 5th right now in the league. Already was hit by 4, now make it 5, and the Birds, once again, have a base runner here.
It's really been the only problem so far for Bobby Miller, has been controlling a couple batters. Hit DeMarco, walked wide on 4 pitches, and now hits Martinez, who, like we talked about, gets on in a different way, in different types of ways, does so right there, getting hit on the left elbow guard.
Doesn't matter how you reach, it's just if you reach. That's the big deal for the Firebirds, and Andrew Martinez is on first base now with Pat DeMarco stepping in. Is looking for his first hit of the night. A breaking ball finds the inside part of the plate, says Bob Gardner for strike number 1. And Pat, 1 for 4 last night, like we mentioned in his first AB, just trying to get something going with J.J. Blade standing on deck, and the big guns all behind him. 1-0 Brewster on top of Orleans. The first 3 meetings of this season series, 2 went to Orleans, the other was a tie, as DeMarco swings over the top of a fastball, and it's quickly 0-2.
And for Pat DeMarco, he's just really been late on some fastballs of late. Needs to try and choke up on that bat, maybe start his swing a little earlier and try and rocket it the other way.
That would be a refreshing sight to see. DeMarco been pulling the baseball a lot early on, and he's going to foul this one off to the right side. Just behind on the fastball. It stays at 0-2.
Yeah, defensive swing there from Pat, almost going down to one knee, just fighting it off. I would like to see a hit and run here for the Birds. I think Martinez with good speed. Got DeMarco, who puts the ball in play a lot. I think it would be a good time for the Birds to try and make something happen in the early going.
Comes the 0-2 pitch from Bobby Miller. Runner not going. DeMarco swinging away. Bouncing ball to the right side. Fielded by Massey. The throw to the shortstop in time, but they were unable to turn 2 because Massey's throw was low and away, and Freeman saved an error there. But they do get the lead runner, and there's now 2 away.
And to my point, if the Birds had hit and run there, that opens up the entire right side. DeMarco went the other way. It could be 1st and 3rd for Orleans, and it's been this Birds offense, like we've talked about, that just hasn't gotten those big hits. They get a runner on the free hit by pitch, and Orleans can't do anything with it. Got to count on J.J. Blade to try and hit one in the gap.
Going to pick off and check on Pat DeMarco, who now occupies first base. He's back in there safely. And 2 things offensively that Orleans has struggled with so far this year. Stealing bases in terms they just don't do it often. They've been successful when they're doing it. But they are near the bottom of the league in stolen bases and also walking. Very aggressive hitters at the plate as Blade right on cue swings at the first pitch, fouls it off for strike number 1. They are 12 walks behind the next closest team, so easily in last place when it comes to walks. And as our very own Stu Murray kind of talked about, it's a gritty factor of a ball club when you're able to walk and not strike out. And a team that first comes to mind is the Bourne Braves. They did that last night against Orleans, just grinding out ABs and making pitchers work for each and every out. Blade swings again, fouls it off in front of the Orleans dugout. It's 0-2.
Yeah, it's kind of an art, if you will, and a science. It's not necessarily every guy's going to get a hit in your lineup, and that's not really what the sport of baseball is about. It's a team game. You got to try and draw a lot of pitches from the starting arm and try and get them out of the game and get into some of those weaker arms in the pen.
1 pitch away from escaping another inning where the Firebirds reached a base runner. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Miller. It's low and in the dirt. This time Blade is able to lay off, and the count goes to 1-2. And when you mention walks, really the only Firebird that's excelled at that so far is Logan Wyatt. Everyone else on Orleans' roster has really been very limited in terms of that. There's another pickoff to check on DeMarco. Pat's back in there safely. J.J. Blade, example, only has 3 walks on the season. And he's a guy that's being pitched very carefully to, obviously, because of his start to the season, but the walks just haven't been there for Blade. Comes the 1-2 pitch, runner going. Blade sends a ball to the right side, tipped off the glove. It'll bounce over to Massey, who still has time to retire J.J. Blade. It's a 1-4-3 putout to retire the side. So the Birds, once again, a base runner aboard, unable to move him over or do anything with it. We'll head to the top of the 4th inning. I'll hand the play-by-play duties off to Josh White. In a game where Brewster's on top of Orleans, 1-0. We'll be right back on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network.
Cade Meckles back out for his 4th inning of work this afternoon with Brewster on top of Orleans 1-0. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 here for the Whitecaps. Connor Grammis, Hunter Bishop, and Cam Eden. Josh White alongside Braden Bell on the call here for the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. It was Grammis that got the Whitecaps on the board with a solo shot back in the 2nd, his 4th long ball of the summer. Righty on righty matchup. Grammis extends the bat towards Meckles. Open stance with the left in front of the right. Here's the pitch from Meckles. Fastball cut on and missed for strike 1. Grammis from Xavier playing DH tonight for Jamie Shevchik and the Whitecaps. Meckles gets the sign. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball upstairs above the letters of Grammis, and that evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Grammis did not appear at the plate last night for the Whitecaps against YD. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball, check swing by Grammis, but that catches the outside corner, and that'll make the count 1-2.
And Grammis, such a fluid swing in that first AB, the home run, and the difference in this game so far, just squared up that baseball, got every piece of it. And, you know, even though the numbers don't really suggest it, he has been a force to be reckoned with in terms of just a very compact, fluid swing.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball on the outside corner, ring him up, strike 3. Grammis goes down looking, and there's 1 away in the top of the 4th.
So after the first 10 batters of the Brewster Whitecaps lineup was able to get through without being struck out, the last 2 have gone down by way of the K, and Cade Meckles perhaps starting to settle in a bit, and that would be a good sign for Kelly Nicholson and company.
So that'll bring the bird watch of the day into the left-handed batter's box in Hunter Bishop. First pitch from the right-handed Meckles. Fastball that catches the outside corner for strike 1. Brewster 1, Orleans nothing here with 1 away in the top of the 4th. Bishop 0 for 1 tonight, popped up to Martinez back in the 2nd. Here's the 0-1. Fastball that misses outside, and that evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Bishop takes a deep breath, now back in from the left side. Open stance with the right foot almost out of the left-handed batter's box. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball that misses outside just above the belt of Bishop, and that makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Bishop riding a 6-game hit streak into the game tonight, has really struggled this year with the strikeout. 28 Ks already for Bishop. Here's the 2-1. Fastball that misses up and away, and that makes the count 3 balls and 1 strike.
Sometimes when you're pressing, you start pressing when you start striking out a lot is what I'm trying to say. And Hunter Bishop, a good job in this AB, not chasing any of Meckles' fastballs that have been out of the strike zone.
Meckles behind 3-1. Here's the pitch from Meckles. Fastball that misses low and away, ball 4, and Bishop works out a 5-pitch walk, and the Whitecaps have a runner aboard with 1 down in the top of the 4th.
Very strong AB from Hunter Bishop. And that just goes back to what we were talking about last inning, the ability to walk. Take them when they come to you. And that sometimes has been an issue for hitters in this Firebird lineup, is just trying to get in and hit the ball. You don't necessarily have to do that. Sometimes pitchers in this league can be a little rowdy, press a little much, and that's what Meckles did right there. Bishop was able to be patient with it and take the walk.
So Eden digs in for a 2nd time tonight from the right side. Meckles working at the stretch. Here's the pitch. Eden shows bunt and pulls back. This fastball misses outside for ball 1. Fastball crossed up Phil Clark, who will now come out and have a word with the right-hander from Grand Canyon. 1-0 1-0 the score in favor of the Whitecaps here with 1 away in the top of the 4th. Eden 0 for 1 tonight. Flew out to the left fielder, Cardo Aldretti, back in the 2nd. The Cal Golden Bear back in from the right side. All tan stained bat for the Whitecaps third baseman. Extends the bat towards Meckles. Now with the hands back behind the head. Right-hander comes set. Now checks on Bishop at first base and nothing doing. There's a Whitecaps team that has played small ball every chance they can get. They're second in stolen bases in the CCBL with 34. Bishop a threat to run over there at first base, already with 6 stolen bases. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball popped up by Eden down the right field line and foul. And that'll even up the count at 1-1. The rising junior taking his time, spitting in his batting gloves. Now getting set, staring down to the third base coach, Ryan Smith. Meckles trying to induce just the 3rd ground ball of the evening and get out of this jam with an inning-ending double play. Meckles comes set. Here's the 1-1. Fastball outside. It was a pitch out. Trying to make sure Bishop is not running, and that makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
I get the strategy there to see if Bishop's running, even though he's not a perennial stolen base threat, but you got to wonder if that's really a good decision, as Meckles kind of dancing around here, not great command in this inning so far. You kind of want to hone your pitcher in and let him focus on the glove.
Meckles comes set. Here's the 2-1. Fastball upstairs above the letters of Eden, and that'll make the count 3 balls and 1 strikes. And like you talked about, Meckles struggling with his control here in the 4th. You don't want to hand free balls outside the zone just to make sure Eden, or I should say Bishop, is close at first base. Wind blowing out to right field, a threat for the home run ball for Cam Eden. He's got 2 already on the summer. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Bishop running. Fastball inside, ball 4. So back-to-back walks for Cade Meckles. And the Whitecaps have 2 on with 1 out here in the top of the 4th.
And back-to-back walks was the trouble for Eric Miller and the pitching staff yesterday against Bourne, and now biting Meckles here in the 4th inning. Luckily for him, it's the bottom of this lineup, so he already has 1 out. A ground ball can still get you out of this jam just like that, so Meckles just got to calm down, take a few deep breaths, and try to focus back in here.
Tennessee Volunteer straps the batting gloves and digs in from the left side. The Whitecaps on top of the Birds, 1-0 here with 1 away in the top of the 4th. Ammons 0 for 1 tonight, flew out to his counterpart J.J. Boudet back in the 2nd inning. Meckles working from the first base side of the rubber. Here's the first pitch. Fastball cut on and missed into the glove of Clark for strike 1. Ammons, a 5'10", $180 outfielder, originally from Memphis, Tennessee, taking his time. Unstraps the batting gloves, now back and set. Digs in from the left side, sporting teal wristbands in the Brewster Whitecaps colors. Eden off first, Bishop off second base with 1 down in the top of the 4th. Meckles comes set. Here's the 0-1. Bishop running. Fastball corked to the right side, glove by the first baseman Wyatt. He'll take it to the bag himself, but advancing 90 feet as they were off on the pitch are Bishop and Eden. There's 2 away in the top of the 4th.
Love that decision for the Whitecaps. Send both guys in that situation, and a fantastic job by Ammons to do what he needed to do. Hit the ball to the right side, make it impossible to get either runner that was advancing, and now it's all left up to Joe Donovan, who looked good in his first AB, to try to come through again.
So Donovan will try and replicate what he did in his first AB with the single. First pitch from Meckles, breaking ball over the heart of the plate for strike 1. Donovan, originally from Clarendon Hills, Illinois, attends the University of Michigan. Back in from the right side. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball that misses just above the shoe tops of Donovan, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Brewster 1, Orleans nothing, here with 2 away in the top of the 4th. Eden leads off second, Bishop 90 feet away at third base. Meckles out of the windup. Here's the 1-1. Fastball fouled off by Donovan near the third base dugout, and Meckles jumps ahead 1-2. Cade has had the strike pitch working in the early parts of the season, has not had it so much tonight, just 2 Ks through the first 3 2/3 innings pitched. right-handed hitting catcher here, 1-2. Here's the pitch from Meckles. Fastball lifted down the right field line, tailing foul. Wyatt gives chase, but that runs out of play, and we'll do it again at 1-2.
This is where you kind of separate yourselves from being a good starting pitcher to a great starting pitcher. The ability to finish off a hitter, where you've gotten yourself in a self-induced jam with 2 walks. You got 2 outs, 2 strikes on the guy. This is where you attack.
Donovan with a slightly open stance, left foot in front of the right. Here's the 1-2. Fastball that he just fights off. Slow roller near the Brewster dugout, and we'll do it again once at 1-2. Eden on second base, Bishop at third after a couple of walks for the Whitecaps. Brewster on top of Orleans, 1-0, in 2 teams battling for the cellar of the East Division. Meckles taking his time. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball hit back up the middle. Gazzo dives, and this gets through into center field. Bishop's home from third. Eden being waved around. He's in standing up. It's a 2 RBI single for Joe Donovan. And the Brewster Whitecaps lead the Birds 3-0.
That's exactly why walks can come back to bite you. That ball wasn't hit hard. It was just hit in the right spot. And because you issued 2 free passes, that scores 2 runs instead of just being a harmless single.
So now the struggling shortstop Ike Freeman digs in from the right side. Just 1 for his first 17 to start the CCBL campaign. Playing in his 6th game so far for Jamie Shevchik. First pitch from Meckles. Breaking ball that misses inside for ball 1. Freeman 0 for 1 tonight. Lined out to the left fielder Aldretti. Back in the 3rd. Cade has not struggled too much out there on the mound. This has come as a surprise so far. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball that misses low. I beg your pardon. It's now 2-0. Freeman from Rockwell, North Carolina, attends the hometown school in the UNC Tar Heels. Shortstop back in from the right side. Donovan leads off first after picking up the 2 RBI single. Here's the 2-0. Fastball on a line to the shortstop. Gazzo dives, gets up, going to throw it to first. Picked out of the dirt by Wyatt in time. A fantastic play by Sal Gazzo. Ranging to his left, diving, keeping the ball in the infield, and throwing a dart to Wyatt to end the inning. But not before the Whitecaps scored 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 run left on base. Split to the home half of the 4th here at Eldridge Park. Brewster 3 and Orleans 0. Listen to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Whitecaps on top of the Firebirds, 3-0 as we head to the home half of the 4th here at Eldridge Park. It'll be the heart of the lineup for the Firebirds. Spencer Steer, Logan White, and Nick Osborne set to face Bobby Miller, who has looked sensational so far for the Whitecaps for the first 3 innings of action.
Yeah, he's done a very good job of just not really inducing any real threats. Obviously, Orleans has made it pretty easy. No hits so far, but he hasn't been perfect by any stretch. A base runner's reached all 3 innings for the Birds. He's just been unable to do anything with it.
Righty on righty matchup. Here's the first pitch. Rocketed down the right field line. Tailing towards the foul line is Franklin. He goes up against the netting and can't make the catch as this runs out of play for strike 1. Steer 0 for 1 tonight. Grounded into an inning-ending double play back in the 1st for score 6-3, and his first AB in the last 4 days. Third baseman back in from the right side. Miller stares in for his sign from Donovan. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball upstairs above the head of Steer, and that evens up the count at 1-1. Steer has enjoyed playing here at Eldridge Park, batting .357 with 3 long balls and 11 RBI. Here's the 1-1. Fastball that misses low and away, and that'll make the count 2-1.
There's a good job by Spencer Steer to not chase those pitches, get ahead in the count, and he's been one of those guys that's looked very comfortable at home, obviously, in the batter spots.
Some action in the Birds bullpen. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball tipped off the catcher's mask of Donovan, and that makes the count 2-2. Those home road splits not so friendly for Spencer away from Orleans, just batting .222. Spencer has reached in all 9 games here at Eldridge Park, trying to extend that streak to 10. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball that Steer lays off of, and that'll run the count full at 3-2.
Good job by Steer to lay off that pitch. You mentioned the action in the Orleans bullpen. It's Carlisle Kessler from southeastern Louisiana starting to warm in the Birds' pen.
Here's the full count pitch to Steer. Fastball popped up down the right field line onto the hill here at Eldridge Park as a dozen or so kids chase the baseball behind home plate, and we'll do it again at 3-2. 3-0 the score in favor of Brewster here in the home half of the 4th. Steer trying to get on base right here. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball lifted into shallow left field. The shortstop Freeman ranges back, and he makes the grab to take away that bloop hit from Steer, and there's one away in the bottom of the 4th.
Okay, yes, it's an out. Yes, it's a lazy fly out to the shortstop, but it was a good at-bat for Spencer Steer. He battled. He made Miller work. That's something the Birds have been unable to do so far. So finally a first, kind of a grinded-out AB for Firebirds tonight.
First pitch to Wyatt. Fastball that catches the outside corner for strike 1. First baseman from Louisville facing his Cardinal teammate. Walked in his first plate appearance back in inning number 2. Here's the 0-1 from Miller. Fastball rocketed down the left field line foul, and Miller jumps ahead 0-2. Wyatt in a little bit of a rut, 2 for his last 14, after batting .366 through the first 15 games. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball popped up down the left field line in foul territory. The third baseman Eden gives chase, and he makes the play with 2 hands, shy of the foul line for the second out of the inning.
So I've been talking about patience at the plate, but there simply is nothing you can do if you're a guy like Bobby Miller pounding the strike zone. You're going to have to get the bat off your shoulder, obviously, and so far for Orleans, they've just been unable to square up a baseball. I mean, there's only been probably 1 or 2 hard-hit balls so far, one of them being from Nick Osborne, but besides that, it's been very easy, soft contact.
It's now Nick Osborne, the batter. First pitch from Miller. Fastball upstairs above the letters of Osborne for ball 1. Osborne hit a ball on the line back in his first AB, but flew out to Bishop in the second. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball waved out and missed by Osborne in the dirt, and that evens up the count at 1-1. Osborne has been outstanding for the Birds through his first 7 games, with 3 home runs already for Orleans. Open stance for the DH. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball that misses off the outside corner, and that makes the count 2-1. Brewster out to an early 3-0 lead here in the home half of the 4th with 2 away. Miller wheels and deals. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball that misses low and away, and that puts Osborne in a favorable spot at 3-1. Osborne, a guy that has gotten on base at a high clip, entered the day with a .464 on base percentage. Here's the 3-1. Fastball hit on a line into center field, a base hit. Nick Osborne knocks down Bobby Miller as he hits the deck, as the teal cap fall off the noggin, and Osborne's aboard with a 2-out base hit.
Now 8 games played offensively for Nick Osborne. 7 of them have been including a hit, and you could hear the grunt from Nick Osborne that time. He swings with everything in his body, and he absolutely crushed that ball right back up the middle.
So now Phil Clark, the catcher from Vanderbilt, will dig in from the left side. Clark 0 for 1 tonight. Did hit the ball on a line back in the second, but right into the glove of Dominic Canzone. So Osborne leads off first, and Miller will have to work out of the stretch. Right-hander comes set at the belt. Here's the pitch to Clark. Fastball to catch the outside corner for strike one. Clark has struggled in the early going for the Birds. Entered the day just batting .209. Rising sophomore from Franklin, Tennessee. Waves the bat in the left-handed batter's box. Miller comes set. Here's the 0-1. Fastball hit the other way, over the head of Freeman and into left field, a base hit. Back-to-back singles for the Birds, and there's a two-out rally here in the home half of the fourth.
Very nice inside-out swing that time from Phil Clark, a guy who was in big-time need of a hit, and he just fillets that ball out to left field over the shortstop's head. Fine piece of hitting. Like you said, 2 straight hits, so the Birds now in business.
So Carter Aldretti will dig in from the right side, representing the tying run for Orleans. Brewster on top of the Birds, 3-0 with 2 away in the bottom of the fourth. Aldretti 0 for 1 tonight, ended the second with a ground out to Cam Eden. Righty on righty matchup. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, check swing by Aldretti, but that catches the outside corner for strike one. Aldretti manning left field, not his natural position. Started out as a third baseman, has played some second base as well here for Orleans. Clark leads off first, Osborne off second. Miller checks on him. Here's the 0-1. Fastball hit on a line out to left field. The left fielder Canzone ranges back. He turns around and this kicks off the fence. Osborne being waved from third. He's in standing up into second base with a stand-up RBI double is Carter Aldretti. And the Birds are on the board. It's 3-1 in favor of Brewster.
How about that for a little two-out rally? Carter Aldretti playing beanball with the wall out there in left field. Well, in time to drive home Nick Osborne, and just like that, after looking almost asleep on offense, 3 straight hits have the Birds on the board.
So now the Birds have put the tying run into scoring position after that RBI double by Carter Aldretti. He leads off second base with Clark 90 feet away at third base. Gazzo digs in from the left side. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Flew out to Bishop back in the third. Righty on lefty matchup. Here's the pitch from Miller. Breaking ball, check swing by Gazzo. He did not go around, says the third base umpire Bill Pompa, ball 1. Gazzo has struggled with the bat recently, just 2 for his last 31. But one of those 2 hits, a solo shot, his first of the summer. Shortstop from Tulane, trying to tie this game up here for the Birds. Here's the 1-0. Fastball up and away, and that'll make the count 2 balls and no strikes.
Great job by Sal Gazzo. You got to recognize here, you're in the 8-hole. There's been 3 straight hits. The guy clearly isn't locating. Take your time, pick a spot, and then swing when it gets there.
It's been a team that Orleans has had their number so far this summer. Here's the 2-0. Fastball, big hack and a miss by Gazzo, and that makes the count 2-1. Orleans has picked up 2 wins already and 1 tie against the Brewster Whitecaps so far through their first 3 meetings. Trying to extend that streak, keep the Birds unbeaten against Brewster so far. 2 on with 2 out. Here's the 2-1. Breaking ball tipped by Gazzo back to the screen, and that evens up the count at 2-2. 3-1 the score in favor of Brewster here in the home half of the fourth. For Carter Aldretti with that RBI double, putting the Birds on the scoreboard. Gazzo trying to keep the rally alive here for Orleans. Aldretti leads off second. Clark 90 feet away at third base. Here's the 2-2. Fastball upstairs, and that'll run the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And suddenly a light switch has turned. The Firebirds being patient, making Miller work for every pitch, and that's why you've seen some success suddenly, not chasing pitches out of the strike zone. Another good AB here for Sal Gazzo. We'll see if he can finish it off with a hit.
So the Connecticut native will try and get the Birds and keep them in the right direction. Miller working from the third base side. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball hit on the ground to the first baseman, Franklin. He goes down to a knee, scoops it up, and takes it to the bag himself. And the side is retired. So the Birds score 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runs left on base. We'll keep it here in this inning as our sideline reporter, Eliav Gabay, checks in with Kelly Nicholson halfway through the season, with the Birds trailing 3-1 in their 23rd game in 2018 against the Brewster Whitecaps. As Skip makes his way over to Eliav, and he'll check in with the 14th year head coach in Kelly Nicholson. Eliav, take it away.
All right, thanks guys. I'm here with Skip, and Skip, Spencer Steer had a couple games off. Can you give us any update about that time off?
Yeah, he feels good. He jammed his thumb a little bit. It was a little swollen, a little sore, a little stiff. So he felt good yesterday. We could have used him to pinch hit, and he was fine today. So back in the lineup.
Yeah, we see him back out on that diamond now. Before the game, you told us, hey, it's the third quarter of the season, second half. Is that really the mentality? And what's the goal with the mentality in this third quarter of the season?
Hey, there's nothing we can do about the first half, right? So the only thing that we can control is today, and we're just going to do the best we can today and try to get better every day and see what happens. Nobody's. I told him today it's all about the finish. It's all about how we end up August 3rd, not July 8th. So brand new day. See what happens today. Compete. Continue to prepare and compete, and we'll see what happens. See what shakes out this today.
Thanks, Skip. Back to you guys.
Always interesting to hear what Skip has to say in the middle of baseball games. We're obviously thankful for him taking the time out with the Birds trailing the Whitecaps 3-1 heading into the top of the fifth here at Eldridge Park. New pitcher into the ball game for Orleans. It's the right-hander from southeastern Louisiana in Carlisle Kessler, making his second appearance this summer for Orleans. 1-0, just pitched one inning for Orleans. It was a scoreless frame. He has a whip of 1.00 and a strikeout as well.
So the final line on Cade Beckles, he went 4 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Wasn't his best outing at all. He struggled keeping the ball down in the strike zone, but the offense can pick things up here. He will not get the loss, and that's the best he can hope for at this point.
So it'll be the right-handed arm, originally from Vicksburg, Mississippi, and Kessler trying to give the Birds some innings. A starter by trade in southeastern Louisiana. Going to try and pitch through the top of the lineup here for the Whitecaps in Dominic Canzone, Mike Massey, and Jesse Franklin, with the Birds down 3-1. So Canzone strolls to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Did reach on an error by Martinez back in the third. He'll dig in from the left side as the righty Kessler gets ready to deliver his first pitch of the afternoon. Left fielder from Ohio State in from the left side. Vicksburg, Mississippi native. Here's the first pitch from the right-hander. Fastball that misses low for ball 1. Brewster Whitecaps just 4-16-3. They're in last place in the East Division with 11 points. Here's the 1-0. Fastball hit on the line to the left side. Glove by the shortstop. Gazzo bobbles it, rushes the throw to first. In time, beats Canzone by a step. Gazzo struggled securing the baseball, but able to get the throw in time ahead of Canzone, 1 away.
Good job by Gazzo. Even though he bobbled that ball, did not panic, just stayed with it. Fundamentally sound play. And dashing the ball over to first base in time, barely to get the speedy Canzone.
So that'll bring Mike Massey into the left side, the second baseman from Illinois. He's 0 for 2 tonight. First pitch from Carlisle. Fastball on the inside corner for strike 1. Kessler with a very deceptive delivery. Almost comes like he's going to wind up, but then just drops that left leg forward and delivers to the plate. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball lifted out to shallow right field. The right fielder Baudet ranging on. Martinez going out. And this one dinks in fair territory. Baudet going to throw it into second base. Sliding in feet first is Massey. And he is safe as that ball kicks away from Gazzo. It's a bloop double for Mike Massey, and he's aboard with 1 down in the top of the 5th.
Just hard luck there for Carlisle. Kessler executed that pitch very well. It was a blooper, like you said, and just fell in at the perfect spot. There was no chance Baudet was going to be able to track that down. And the Brewster Whitecaps with another runner in scoring position here.
So the Whitecaps leading 3-1 here with 1 away in the top of the 5th. Trying to add to that with a runner in scoring position. Now the third consecutive lefty bat in Jesse Franklin digs in. He's 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout. First pitch from Carlisle. Breaking ball upstairs for ball 1. Kessler, a starter by trade, made 14 starts this past season for southeastern Louisiana. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball hit on the line to the second baseman Martinez. He drops it, going to throw to second. They can't get Gazzo, and then Gazzo throws it to first, not in time. Logan Wyatt, the first baseman, a little confused, thought that Martinez made the play. And now confusion in the infield, and Kelly Nicholson going to come out and have a word with Tom Carey to see if Martinez caught that baseball and if the Birds were able to successfully double off Massey.
I mean, if you're Andrew Martinez and you didn't catch that baseball, why would you possibly throw to second? He knows he caught that ball, and he would know better than anyone. A very tough break. He's shocked right now standing at the infield. They're saying it hit the ground, but Martinez certainly thought he caught it, tried to double off the runner at second. And Kelly Nicholson now getting an explanation as all the umpires will now convene and see if anyone else saw something different. A tough break, if not, and a very sloppy play for the Firebirds if the call stands.
From our vantage point, it did look like it indeed hit the ground, and like you mentioned, a little confusing why Martinez would make the throw to second in that case. And now the three umpires of Bob Gardner, Tom Carey, and Bill Pompa trying to talk things over. This isn't the first time there's been a little bit of controversy here by the umpires at Eldridge Park. We saw Sam Finn in the early going against Gatuit call a foul slam.
I don't remember that.
That can't quite jog anyone's memory here at Eldridge Park, but the call does stand on the point, and Kelly Nicholson will walk slowly back to the Birds dugout to no avail. So it goes down as a fielder's choice for Jesse Franklin. He's aboard for the first time tonight. And now the guy who had a solo home run back in the second, in Connor Gramis, digs in from the right side. Not the start that Orleans wanted here in the fifth. 3-1 the score in favor of Brewster. Here's the pitch. Fastball on the inside corner at the knees of Gramis for strike one. Gramis 1 for 2 today, struck out in his second AB, looking back in the fourth. Franklin leads off first, Massey off second, with Martinez holding him on. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball that drops in just above the belt of Gramis, called upstairs. That evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Gramis, a two-way player from Xavier, trying to showcase the bat right here after he pitched an inning on the mound, a scoreless baseball last night. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball chopped by Gramis, and that makes the count 1-2. Gramis has already made his imprint on this baseball game, trying to drive in another run here for the Whitecaps. Carlisle ahead of him 1-2. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball lifted out to center field. The center fielder DeMarco ranges back. He dives and makes the grab. Pat DeMarco takes away extra bases from Connor Gramis and keeps Brewster off the board with a diving play in center field over his head. There's 2 away in the top of the fifth.
We've seen some phenomenal plays in center field this year for the Firebirds. I might say that's the best one we've seen yet. The difficulty of that catch is off the charts, having to scale back, pivot, and go on a dead sprint, then lay out Superman style and make the catch. That's major skill from Pat DeMarco. Hats off to Pat. And Carlisle Kessler, probably the happiest person at Eldridge Park right now.
First pitch from Carlisle. Breaking ball that misses inside for ball 1. It was a fantastic play indeed by DeMarco. Took away an extra base hit and potentially a run or two for the Whitecaps. 3-1 the score in favor of Brewster here with 2 down in the top of the fifth. Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball lifted out to center field. DeMarco ranges back, tails towards the fence, and he makes the grab for the final out of the inning. So a fantastic play by Pat DeMarco keeps the Brewster Whitecaps on the board. It's a scoreless inning in relief for Carlisle Kessler. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We're halfway home here at Eldridge Park. Brewster on top of Orleans 3-1. Listening to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape Cod League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the country, with thousands drafted and more than 500 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness. Bottom of the 5th here we go at Eldridge Park. 3-1 the score in favor of Brewster. It'll be 9-1-2 here for the Birds. First pitch to Martinez. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. A fine defensive play by Pat DeMarco, who will bat second in this inning. Kept Brewster off the scoreboard in the top half of this frame. Here's the 0-1. Fastball that tails outside, and that evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
You mentioned that defensive play, really huge in many ways because you lay out for that baseball. If you don't make the catch, it's rolling all the way to the warning track. 2 runs would score. Who knows with the speed? It could be a triple or an inside the park home run.
1-1 pitch, caught on and missed by Martinez, and Miller jumps ahead 1-2. Bobby Miller from the University of Louisville has done a great job so far through 4 innings of work. Just 1 run on 3 hits for Orleans. He's ahead of Martinez here 1-2. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball that misses low and away, and that evens up the count at 2-2. Martinez started the summer with the YD Red Sox. They're atop the East Division with 28 points. Now shifts a little east to the Firebirds. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball fought off by Martinez, and we'll do it again at 2-2. There's really just not too much playing time for Martinez at YD. 3 shortstops on that roster, trying to see if he can find a piece to the puzzle here in Orleans. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball lifted down the right field line and tails foul, and we'll do it again at 2-2.
And so it's a good situation for everyone. Steve Pickler was a fan of Andrew Martinez at Yarmouth Dennis, just couldn't find him time like you said. And Andrew, a talented young guy, gladly will move to Orleans, a team that needs a shortstop that can produce offensively. And so a good plan for everyone.
Here's the 2-2 once again. Breaking ball misses in the dirt, and that runs the count full at 3-2. Martinez still looking for his first hit as an Orleans Firebird. Batted .244 with YD. I beg your pardon, .241 through 13 games. Here's the payoff pitch. Breaking ball low and outside, ball 4. A good AB for Andrew Martinez, and he's aboard for the second time tonight. And the Birds have a runner on first with nobody down in the home half of the 5th.
We talk a lot about how leadoff walks can come back to bite you if you are a pitcher, and that's exactly what Orleans is hoping can happen here. A great AB by Andrew Martinez, like you referred to. Second walk of the night already for Orleans, and now it's the top of the lineup. A great chance to try to pull with even closer to this game. So
Pat DeMarco, who made that fine defensive web gem, digs in from the right side. He represents the tying run for the Birds, trailing 3-1 in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch from Miller. Fastball hit on the ground to the left side, could be 2. Gloved by Freeman, he'll take it to the bag himself. On to first, a 6-6-3 double play. And with 1 pitch, Miller picks up 2 outs, and there's 2 away in the bottom of the 5th.
And that one stings, no doubt about it. Your leadoff hitter, you expect to work a good count, swing it away on the first pitch, and a tailor-made double play to end the threat of a rally.
So J.J. Baudet will now dig in from the left side. He's 0 for 2 tonight, with a flyout and a ground out, trying to get things going in the right direction. First pitch from the right-handed Miller. Breaking ball, check swing by Baudet, and chopped foul up the first base line for strike 1. Ryan Erickson, the first base coach, having a little fun down there, picked up the baseball, walked it a couple steps, and underhand tossed it to Andrew Abbott, surrounded by Riley Ornito and Levi Stout. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball popped up down the left side, tailing into foul territory. The third baseman Eden gives chase up against the fence, and he makes the play for the final out of the inning. So a quick inning for Bobby Miller as he has dazzled across 5 innings for the Brewster Whitecaps. We're to the top of the 6th here at Eldridge Park. 3-1 in favor of Brewster. You're listening to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Carlisle Kessler back out for his second inning of relief, with the Birds trailing the Whitecaps 3-1 as we head to the top of the sixth here at Eldridge Park. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 here for Brewster, Cam Eden, Justin Ammons, and Joe Donovan set to face the right-hander from southeastern Louisiana. Righty on righty matchup. First pitch from Carlisle. Fastball that misses low. Eden showed bunt and pulled back, but this one in there for ball one. Eden 0 for 1 tonight. Flew out to Aldretti back in the second and walked in the fourth before coming around to score. The Cal Golden Bears supporting the stirrups for the Whitecaps. Here's the 1-0. Fastball hit on the ground at the third baseman Steer. He backhands it on a knee. Goes across the diamond. High throw to Wyatt. Pulled him off the bag. And Cam Eden reaches on the errant throw by Spencer Steer. And that should be an error on Spencer Steer.
And it is, and a tough break for Orleans on a very routine ground ball, and just something that the Birds have been struggling with lately is sometimes the most routine plays they're unable to make. They're making the flashy highlight reel plays, as we saw last inning from Pat DeMarco. It's just those routine ones that have been sometimes erratic.
And Cam Eden walking slowly down the first base side. He's not moving too much, reaching towards his lower leg, so the Brewster Whitecaps trainer will come out to check on the Cal Golden Bear. It's Brewster 3, Orleans 1, here with nobody out in the top of the sixth, and training staff starting to check on Eden, and his close friend Andrew Martinez from the West Coast giving a check on him. And Eden trying to jog it off, but he'll walk back towards the third base dugout, so we shall presume that Eden will come out of the game due to injury, and a pinch runner will come in for the Brewster Whitecaps. Eden reaching down towards that right leg, showcasing that to Jamie Shevchik. So we'll have a pinch runner here for the Brewster Whitecaps as Shevchik looks down the third base dugout. Going to tab someone to run at first. Well, not a routine or an ideal start for the Birds after the errant throw by Spencer Steer.
And you never want to see an injury in a summer ball game. Obviously, we've documented that a few times this summer, and not a good sign for Brewster, team already struggling, and then to have your third baseman, Cameron Eden, who has been kind of a calming presence and a force defensively for this team, to have him sidelined with what looks to be like somewhat of an injury, at least big enough to get him out of this ball game. It's just more bad news for the Whitecaps.
So it's turned into a conversation all across the Birds lineup, and as the Firebirds talk about things, we'll talk about what's going on around the league here in the CCBL. As a pinch runner comes out, and it's actually Cam Eden going to stay in the ballgame and run for himself. So after going back to the dugout, taking his time, he's back in and ready to pinch run, or should say run for himself. So no pinch runner used by Jamie Shevchik after Eden headed towards the dugout. So he seems to be okay, and Carlisle Kessler will have to pitch out of the stretch now.
It's World Cup season. You see a lot of times soccer players go down, they spray something on them, and then they're back fine. I don't know what exactly happened there, but World Cup fever perhaps for Cameron Eden. Of course, I'm kidding. It's good to see him back out there and at first base for Brewster.
So Justin Ammons digs in from the left side. He shows bunt, pulls back on the breaking ball from Carlisle. That misses inside for ball one. Ammons 0 for 2 tonight. Flew out to the right fielder Boudet back in the second, and grounded out to Wyatt in the fourth. Brewster trying to play a little bit of small ball here, something they've done a lot this season, only with 4 wins so far through their first 23 games. Kessler comes set, and now the batter Ammons calls time. It's Brewster 3, Orleans 1 here in the top of the sixth. Eden still in the ball game, running at first base. Here's the 1-0. Fastball that misses low and inside, and then I'll make the count 2-0. Ammons from Memphis, Tennessee, plays at Tennessee. Unstraps the batting gloves, now fixes them back in from the left side. Eden with good speed at first base, already 3 stolen bases this summer. Here's the 2-0. Fastball hit weakly into shallow center field. Gazzo gives chase, and this one dinks in over his head. DeMarco comes on, and he can't get there as Justin Ammons bloops a single into shallow center field. And the Whitecaps have their first 2 base runners on with nobody out here in the top of the sixth.
It's kind of that night so far for Brewster, and the game of baseball, sometimes karma will turn, and now it'll be a pitching visit for Jamie Quinn, the Firebird pitching coach. But it's now been about 3 or 4 times that little bloop hits that sometimes will be caught, other times will drop your way. They've been going the way of the Whitecaps so far, and that's definitely hurt Orleans. And Kessler now in a little bit of a pickle, as there's some action out there in the Orleans bullpen.
It's Corey Giacone starting to soft toss out there, a southeastern Louisiana teammate of Carlisle Kessler, who has struggled in his second inning of relief here for the Birds. Brewster leads Orleans 3-1 here with nobody out in the top of the sixth. Orleans got things started with Cade Meckles out of Grand Canyon University on the hill. He went 4 innings, gave up 3 runs, all of them earned on 3 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. It's been Carlisle Kessler ever since, who tossed a solid first frame, but struggling here in his second inning of work. Now the batter, Joe Donovan, who's 2 for 2 today with a couple of RBI. He shows bunt, pops up the bunt behind home plate, over the screen, over the press box for strike 1.
And we referred to it multiple times throughout the broadcast, the ability and willingness to play small ball that Brewster has kind of adopted through the struggle of their season so far, and we'll see whether or not they can carry it on. And Joe Donovan, a guy that's 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs, they have it in bunt here.
The 0-1, Donovan shows bunt and misses through the breaking ball, and that makes the count 0-2. Ammons leads off first, Eden off of second, and Brewster trying to cross another insurance run on the board. Already trailing, or I should say already leading 3-1. Michigan catcher back in from the right side. Kessler trying to pick up his first strikeout of the afternoon. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball that runs low and away. And that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Donovan, originally from Illinois, has plenty of family ties in his home state. His dad played baseball for the Illini. 1-2, hit on the ground to the left side, backhanded by the third baseman Steer. Going to set his feet there across the diamond. Wyatt stretches not in time. An infield single for Joe Donovan on a bang-bang play. And he's aboard for the 3rd time tonight with his 3rd base hit.
I will say, though, a nice job by Spencer Steer, not trying to be the hero. He set his feet. That did slow him down, but if he would have thrown on the run, you risk another error. You risk a ball getting past Logan Wyatt. So he did what he could, made the sound, fundamental play. It just wasn't quick enough because of the very well-hit ball from Joe Donovan. Now, bases loaded, nobody outs, and Carlisle Kessler in a big-time jam.
Mike Freeman digs in. First pitch from Kessler. Breaking ball on the bat of Freeman. And he will trot down to first base. All the batters move up 90 feet. Eden touches the plate. It's 4-1 in favor of Brewster. And Freeman has his first RBI of the summer. So Carlisle Kessler found himself into a little bit of a jam after an error and some weakly hit baseballs. But still the base is full here for the Whitecaps with nobody down. And the leadoff hitter, Dominic Canzone. First pitch to Canzone, fouled down the left field line for strike 1. Canzone 0 for 3 tonight. Reached base in the 3rd on the error by Martinez. Here's the 0-1. Fastball hit on the ground, weakly up the first base line. Wyatt fields it and bobbles it, and everybody is safe. Logan Wyatt can't make the routine play, his 7th error of the summer, and everybody is safe and the wheels are falling off for the Birds. It's 5-1 in favor of Brewster.
Yep, you just can't do those sorts of things and expect to win baseball games. That was as routine as it comes, the slowest of rollers. And Logan Wyatt, like you said, his glove has been an issue, and it strikes again. And the Whitecaps reaping the benefits of very sloppy play here for Orleans.
And Mike Massey digs in. First pitch to him, grounded to the first baseman Wyatt. Backhands, tossed to Gazzo, and he's going to eat the throw with nobody covering first base. So a fielder's choice by Massey brings home another run. The 3rd of the inning for the Brewster Whitecaps, and it's 6-1 in favor of Brewster. So not the inning that Carlisle Kessler wanted over the Orleans Firebirds. And Kelly Nicholson going to leave him out there to try and just eat some innings here. 6-1 the score in favor of the Whitecaps here with only 1 away in the top of the 6th. Runners on the corners here for Brewster with Jesse Franklin the batter. First pitch, breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop by Clark to keep it in front of him for ball 1. Was a fielder's choice, 3-6, with Canzone being put out at second base. Here's the 1-0. Fastball waved out and missed by Franklin, and that evens up the count at 1-1. This inning all got started on the error by Spencer Steer that allowed Eden to reach. Then a couple of base hits for the Whitecaps, followed by a hit by pitch to Freeman. Now another error by Wyatt in the Canzone AB. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball that misses upstairs, and that'll make the count 2-1. Tough play for Wyatt, allows Another run to score. Here's the 2-1. Runner going. Fastball hit on the line. Over the head of Martinez into right field. A base hit. Massey trying to go first to third as Freeman scores on the hit and run. The Brewster Whitecaps have broken this game open. It's now 7-1 here in the top of the 6th.
And nobody to blame if you're Orleans but yourselves. You mentioned it. 2 errors in this inning, a hit by pitch, just sloppy baseball. There's no other way to put it. And even a team like Brewster, which has struggled so much, they're going to take advantage when you kick the ball around the yard, and that's exactly what they've done here in this inning.
And we have a scoring update. That ground ball to Logan Wyatt by Canzone officially scored an error, officially scored a hit, so no error for Logan Wyatt. A little bit of a shocking decision by the official scorer. Carlisle Kessler can't be happy with that at all because he'll get tagged for another run. Kessler ahead of Grammis 0-1 here, who already has a home run tonight. Brewster Whitecaps no longer in last place in runs scored. It's now the Orleans Firebirds who enter the night with 84 runs scored. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball on the outside corner, and Carlisle Kessler jumps ahead 0-2. Giacone continues to get loose in the Orleans pen, as Grammis the 8th batter of the inning for the Whitecaps. Franklin leads off first. Massey 90 feet away at third base. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball tipped off the mask of Clark, and we'll do it again at 0-2. A nightmare of a ball game for Orleans against the worst team in the CCBL. The Whitecaps enter the day at 4-16-3, just 11 points to their first 23 games. Orleans 6 points ahead of them at 8-13-1. Here's the 0-2. Fastball lifted into right field. The right fielder Baudet ranges over and makes the catch. Tagging up from third base is Massey. He'll score sliding feet first. It's a sac fly RBI for Connor Grammis. Another run in this inning for the Whitecaps. The 5th of the inning. It's now 8-1 in favor of Brewster. So Brewster tagging Orleans for 5 runs in the inning. And in his second appearance, Carlisle Kessler not having his way. So Hunter Bishop digs in. First pitch to him. He shows bunt and fouls it back for strike 1. Whitecaps have now batted around. Bishop, the 9th hitter of the inning. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Did walk in the 4th and came around to score. After a couple fantastic pitching days for the Birds against the Chatham Anglers. They had 19 consecutive innings, turned into a 20 scoreless inning stretch. It's turned the other way since the 0-1 fastball upstairs, and that evens up the count at 1-1. 8-1 Brewster here in the top of the 6th. 2 away, and the Birds trying to get out of the jam. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball upstairs, and that'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
You just got to wonder what possibly could change for Orleans in this game. Nothing really going well at all, and it's really tough to watch.
Here's the 2-1. Fastball upstairs above the head of Bishop, and that'll make the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Bishop looking to extend his hit streak tonight. Enter the ballgame at 6. Here's the 3-1. Fastball popped up down the left field line and foul, and that'll run the count full at 3-2. So Franklin will get a head start at first base with the full count and 2 away here in the top of the 6th. Whitecaps have broken this ball game open with 5 runs in the frame. It's 8-1 in favor of Brewster. Here's the payoff pitch. Breaking ball, ring 'em up, strike 3 on the outside corner. Bishop goes down looking, and the side is finally retired. It's 5 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and 1 run left on base. We'll head to the home half of the 6th here at Eldridge Park. 8-1 the score in favor of Brewster. Listening to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Home half of the sixth we go here at Eldridge Park. A commanding 8-1 lead for the Brewster Whitecaps. It'll be the heart of the order here for the Firebirds. Spencer Steer, Logan Wyatt, and Phil Clark to try and get Orleans heading in the right direction. There's a 5-run inning for the Whitecaps in the top half of this frame on 4 hits, an error, and just 1 run left on base. Steer digs in from the right side. He's 0 for 2 today. First pitch from Miller. Breaking ball on the outside corner for strike 1. Miller has tossed 5 innings of just 1-run baseball. That mistake came back in the 4th on the RBI double by Carter Aldretti. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball rocketed into center field, but right at Hunter Bishop, who lines it up, takes a couple steps to his left and makes the play. 1 up and 1 down here in the home half of the 6th. So now the batter will be Miller's college teammate in Logan Wyatt, who digs in from the left side. Brewster on top of Orleans, 8-1 here in the home half of the 6th. First pitch to the left-handed hitter. Breaking ball waved out and missed for strike 1. Wyatt reached with a walk back in the 2nd. He won the battle that time between the Cardinal teammates. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball that dips in on the outside. That'll make the count 0-2. Wyatt trying to get things going in the right direction. He's struggled of late, just 2 for his last 15. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball tipped by Wyatt back to the screen. That'll make it 0-2. Third team All-American trying to give the Birds a little bit of life here. Louisville matchup. Here's the 0-2 from the right-hander. Breaking ball up and away, and that makes the count 1-2. Corey Ciccone continues to get loose for the Birds in the right field bullpen. He'll pitch, presumably, the top of the 7th. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball check swing by Wyatt. That misses upstairs. That evens up the count at 2-2. Nick Osborne, the Birds DH from Tennessee Tech, waits on deck near the first base dugout. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball lifted down the left field line, tailing foul. Left fielder Canzone comes on near the third base line, but Canzone, or should say the third baseman Eden, calls him off to make the play. 2 up, 2 down here in the home half of the 6th.
That just perfectly describes how this night has gone. It looked like it was tailing foul out of play, and then somehow stays in fair territory in the catch, or in play, at all, and the catch is made, and summing up the night perfectly.
So Nick Osborne digs in. First pitch to him. Breaking ball upstairs for ball 1. Osborne 1 for 2 today, singled and came around to score the lone run for Orleans back in the 4th. Brewster on top of Orleans, 8-1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the 1-0. Fastball misses low and away, and that'll make the count 2 balls and no strikes. Osborne has been on a tear through his first 8 games in the Orleans Red, batting well above 400. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball that catches the outside corner, and that'll make the count 2-1. 6'2", designated hitter back in from the right side. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball that misses low and away, and that'll make the count 3-1. Osborne has been strong against the Whitecaps so far this summer. 3 for his first 5 with an extra base hit. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Fastball low and inside, ball 4, and Osborne works out his first walk of the afternoon, and he's aboard for the second time tonight with 2 down in the bottom of the 6th.
Nick Osborne, the one shining part of this team right now for Orleans. He's been getting it done at the plate, and if you're looking for a bright spot, it's certainly Osborne so far tonight and really through the past 5 games or so.
So now Phil Clark, the catcher from Vanderbilt, will dig in from the left side. He's 1 for 2 today with a single back in the 4th. Clark trying to get his season going in the right direction and give the Birds a chance in this ball game, trailing 8-1 with 2 away in the bottom of the 6th. Osborne leads off first. Miller comes set on the bump from the right side. Here's the first pitch. Breaking ball on the outside corner, called strike 1. Left-handed hitting catcher, originally from Franklin, Tennessee. Was named a freshman All-American this past season for the Commodores. Osborne leads off first base. He's 1 for 1 in stolen bases this summer. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball cut on and missed by Clark, and Miller jumps ahead 0-2. Phil Clark, the Tennessean Baseball Player of the Year, his senior year of high school. Trying to take those talents up the Northeast. Osborne leads off first. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball lifted into shallow left field, and this one dinks down. Phil Clark has his second base hit of the day. He's 2 for 3, and the Birds have 2 on with 2 out here in the home half of the 6th.
Phil Clark also doing a fine job, like you said, his second hit of the night. Not really squaring up the baseball, but finding a hole. That's all that really matters. And getting the job done, and now turning it over to Carter Aldretti.
So Carter Aldretti, who has the lone RBI tonight for Orleans, digs in from the right side. Was an RBI double back in the 4th. Whitecaps leading the Birds 8-1. Here with 2 away in the home half of the 6th. Clark leads off first, Osborne off second. Here's the pitch from the right-hander. Fastball on the inside corner at the knees of Aldretti for strike 1. Miller has been exceptional so far for the Whitecaps. 5 2/3, just 1 run so far for Orleans. Just 5 hits as well. Aldretti trying to pick up his second hit of the night. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball that makes Aldretti look silly, and Miller jumps ahead 0-2. The only shining part for this Birds offense, they have not struck out all game long, something that had been a little bit of an interesting trend in the wrong direction for Orleans. So the Birds starting to put together some better at-bats. Here's the 0-2. Fastball that misses up and away, and that'll make the count 1-2. Orleans entered the day offensively, tied for the 4th most strikeouts in the Cape League, just shy of 200 through the first 22 games. 2 on with 2 out. Righty on righty matchup. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop by the catcher Donovan, and that evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good eye by Carter Aldretti there. Another guy who has struggled to work counts in his favor. Not someone that's really known for walking, only 4 so far through 17 games.
Aldretti was in a very similar position his last time around. It was 2 on with 2 out on first and second when he rocketed a double off the base of the fence in left field. Trying to replicate that right here. Miller comes set from the right side. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball outside, ball 3. And that'll run the count full at 3-2 and give Clark and Osborne a head start off of first and second. Aldretti straps the red and black batting gloves back in from the right side. It's a spot that Carter has excelled in all summer long after hitting .321 with runners in scoring position this past season. Here's the payoff pitch. Breaking ball on the outside corner, ring him up, strike 3. Aldretti gets punched out on the low breaking ball off the plate. First strike number 3. So the Birds' threat goes down without a run coming across the plate. Orleans scores no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We're to the top of the 7th here at Eldridge Park. I'll hand the play-by-play duties back to Braden Bell. It's Brewster 8 and Orleans 1. Listen to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network.
Back here at Eldridge Park, we're set to start the 7th inning, a game that has not gone the way of the Orleans Firebirds, to say the least, so far. It is 8-1 in favor of the Brewster Whitecaps, and a big spot for Brewster, trying to pick up 2 points against the Firebirds, trying to chase them down for that final playoff spot. And a new pitcher in there for the Firebirds. It's Shea Smitty, the right-hander from Louisville, set to make his 10th appearance of the season for Kelly Nicholson and company. An ERA 3.52, and he last appeared in a game 3 nights ago against Chatham, where he threw a scoreless inning of work at home here at Eldridge Park. So it'll be Gage Workman to pinch hit and get this inning going for Cameron Eden, who was left in the ball game, looked like he had tweaked something, and sure enough, Eden's night will end. It also probably helps that it's a 7-run lead for the Whitecaps, and Workman will pinch hit and look at ball 1 low from Shea Smitty. Gage Workman, a fascinating story. Young man out of Arizona State, one of many Sun Devils on the Cape. So far just hitting 140 on the summer, and he looks at ball 2 away from Smitty. Workman, a member of the LDS Church, was planning on going on a Mormon mission after his freshman year at Arizona State. Changed his mind 3/4 of the way through the season as he fouls that pitch off down the first base line, and the count goes to 2-1. His dad also played at Arizona State, left after his freshman year, went on a mission to Argentina. Workman deciding not to do that, though, and will be staying at ASU all 4 years. The 2-1 pitch, a breaking ball that drops into the strike zone. It goes to 2-2. And his dad, Whit Workman, played for ASU in the 90s, one of the glory eras, if you will, for Arizona State. The 2-2 pitch from Smitty, a breaking ball that drops off the table. Phil Clark will handle it, throw it out to first base in time. The strikeout of Workman for out number 1 of the 7th.
That's really been a problem for Gage so far. It's been that strikeout, part of those buck 48 struggles. And if Orleans is going to have any chance in this ball game, and it's obviously tough to come back trailing by 7 runs with only 3 more chances at the plate, Orleans going to try and have to put up 0 after 0 and hope the offense can springboard a couple long balls over the fence.
The final line for Carlisle Kessler, not too pretty. 2 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them were earned, as some errors bit the Birds in the back yet again. No walks, only 1 strikeout for Kessler. Smitty's first pitch is a strike in there to Justin Ammons, and if you look at the box score right now, it suggests that this is a thorough beatdown, exactly what you would expect if you've been listening. 8 runs on 8 hits as Smitty throws a curveball high for ball number 1. No errors for Brewster, and on the other end, it's Orleans. 1 run on only 4 hits, 2 errors. So the Birds were expecting to have a bounce-back night at home. It certainly hasn't gone that way as Smitty gets Ammons to swing over the top of a breaking ball, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now.
Really, the only positive thing for Orleans is tomorrow you got Mitchell Sanger making his debut, but obviously, other than that, not much great things to take away from this game.
Smitty trying to go 2 up, 2 down. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Ammons. It's low into the dirt for ball 2. And you mentioned Sanger's debut. That'll happen at Veterans Field in Chatham tomorrow night. First pitch at 7 o'clock. Pre-game show starts at 6:45 on OFBN. Comes the 2-2 delivery from Shea Smitty. That one's lined to second base. Caught easily at the chest for Andrew Martinez. It's a line out to the second baseman. 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. As Smitty's roll right now down by 7, obviously just to eat up some innings and make it so the bullpen doesn't have to be used and really exposed more than it already has been here tonight.
Yeah, and Shea, a guy that struggled with a little bit of control at times so far this summer, really pounding the strike zone in the early going.
So it's Joe Donovan, someone who's been red hot for Brewster so far. He's 3 for 3, 2 RBIs. He's also scored a run. He's been wearing out the Birds so far tonight as he looks at strike 1 low to equal up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. It all started back in the 2nd inning for Brewster when Connor Grammis, the DH, hit a home run. And it's been the Whitecaps ever since in control of this game. 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball that drops in for strike number 2. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes from Smitty into Joe Donovan, the right-handed batter who also is catching for the Whitecaps tonight. Spends his college time at the University of Michigan. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, another breaking ball. It's blooped down the first base line, will hit off the net foul. Logan White unable to make the catch, and the count stays at 1-2.
You gotta love the effort by Logan White. Pretty much the other 8 birds on the field didn't really move, but White giving chase even with that ball out of play, still down by 7, just giving every ounce of effort he has.
Smitty trying to end the inning here. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging. A big-time strikeout for Smitty. He strikes out 2 of the 3 batters he faces in the 7th. And it's stretch time here at Eldridge Park. It's all Whitecaps so far, 8-1. They lead the Orleans Firebirds. We'll take a quick timeout and be right back on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. New pitcher out there for Brewster as we head to the home half of the 7th inning. It'll be the right-hander from Michigan, Jeff Criswell, taking over for Bobby Miller, who is very strong through 6 innings of work. This will be the 6th relief appearance of the summer for Criswell. In 11 innings, a 2.46 ERA, 7 walks, 7 strikeouts, and has surrendered 8 hits. So we'll see if Criswell can keep this lead at 7 for Brewster. It'll be a pinch hitter leading off this frame for the Firebirds in the form of Justin Levy. So Levy will bat in place of Salgazzo, who finishes the night 0 for 2. And the Birds just trying to get something going, even if it isn't for this game, just momentum-wise, after 2 very difficult and ugly games in a row. Last night at Bourne, a 7-2 loss, and tonight, getting blown out right now by the team with the worst record in the league, the Brewster Whitecaps. Criswell kicks and fires the first pitch into Justin Levy, a fastball in there for strike number 1. And Justin so far this season through 15 games, .226 average, has 7 RBIs, no long balls as of yet. 4 stolen bases, something that wasn't really known as a Levy attribute, but he has done so far pretty well for Orleans. As he looks at ball 1 high, near the eyes, it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
I think the other surprising thing for Justin Levy is the versatility on the infield, as well as shown some prowess on the right side after just being listed as a third baseman.
Criswell kicks and fires. The 1-1 pitch to Justin Levy swings over the top of a fastball. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. A guy who, like I said, attends Louisville, originally from Kenosha, Wisconsin. Recruited hard by Notre Dame, Missouri, North Carolina, Boston College, Virginia Tech. He had a lot of options. Decided to settle down in Louisville. Comes the 1-2 delivery from Criswell. Fastball that runs inside. Levy dodges out of the way, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. It was a good decision to go to Louisville. He went to the College World Series his freshman year, and in his first AB in Omaha, he got a hit. He said that's a moment he'll cherish for the rest of his life. Comes the 2-2 to Levy, fouls it off right into the Orleans dugout. Looks like everyone's okay, as that just would have added insult to injury. At this point, J.J. Blade was the one dodging out of the way of that foul ball. It's now still 2 balls and 2 strikes after a scary moment there. Justin Levy lining a ball into the Firebird dugout. Here comes the 2-2 from Chris Well. Levy battling it off, a tough breaking pitch that time, and the count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And a good AB here by Justin Levy, staying with this, trying to fight off a couple pitches, waiting for the pitch he wants in the zone. And we spoke to him before batting practice yesterday. He told us that he's working on trying to stay more back on that right foot.
One more time, the 2-2 pitch. Who will win this battle between Criswell and Levy? Here it comes. Yomper to the left side, fielded by the third baseman Workman. The throw on the run, not going to be in time, as it was well off the bag. Franklin had to go retrieve that ball, and Levy reaches on an infield single to lead off the bottom of the 7th.
And Levy did just that. He stayed back on his right foot, took that ground ball down the third base side. A tough play for Workman. And Levy with speed beats it out, and for Justin Levy at least, delivers in the opportunity he's given in this ball game.
So now it's Andrew Martinez, who's reached in both plate appearances, was hit by a pitch and walked. Swings on the first pitch, fouls it off. Of course, that yoinker of a moment defensively where he thought he caught that ball. Instead, it apparently had hit the ground, threw it to second base, and everyone was safe. So Martinez has had a bit of issues defensively, but trying to reach now for the 3rd time of the night for Orleans here in the bottom of the 7th. Criswell, the big right-hander from Michigan, comes set, pauses, and delivers the 0-1 pitch, so it's low for ball 1. Martinez attends Cal State Santa Barbara, of course, famously their mascot, the Gauchos, and a lot of people don't know what a gaucho is. Don't worry, I looked it up. It's an Argentine cowboy. That is a gaucho that was adopted in the 70s, that mascot beloved. Rowdy time at their basketball games. Is the 1-1 pitch to Andrew Martinez from Jeff Criswell. Ball 2 high. One of the greatest traditions from Cal State Santa Barbara. It's now banned, mind you, but in the 70s and 80s, they would throw tortillas on the floor of their basketball games after wins. Big wins in conference play, they'd throw tortillas. That's now banned because apparently in the 80s, a ref made a bad call and the student section threw tortillas at the referee. That is now banned. It's a 2-1 pitch, runs high. It's now 3-1.
What happens if the Firebirds fans adopted that policy, particularly maybe against, I don't know, the Katuitt Kettleers earlier this year, and it would have been tortillas all over Eldridge Park?
So Sam Finn was dead and gone for 9 games. Now he's been brought up twice tonight. But yeah, it would be interesting, without a doubt, the tortilla tradition. Also a thing at UTEP as well. The 3-1 pitch to Andrew Martinez swung over the top of for strike number 2, and the count now goes full.
Yeah, talking about college traditions while we're at it, another wacky tradition at Wake Forest University. When they win a big football game or a big basketball game, obviously the Demon Deacons not known for their athletics, more in the academics department, but they throw toilet paper all over their campus.
Sounds like Auburn as well, rolling Toomer's corner as the full count delivery to Andrew Martinez. Criswell kicks and fires. Martinez lays off, ball 4, and now Andrews reached in all 3 plate appearances. And if you are a gaucho, throw a tortilla in the sky, as he's now reached in all 3 plate appearances. So the Birds have the first 2 batters of this inning aboard. Levy at first, Levy now at second, Martinez at first. And the top of the lineup in Pat DeMarco, a Vanderbilt Commodore, will dig in. Pat, of course, made that great catch out in center field earlier in this game, back in the 4th inning. A Superman extension on the fly to make the grab. First pitch into Pat, in there for a strike. The count goes to 0-1.
It is a good chance for Pat to pick up that single that he normally picks up in a game. Usually goes 1 for 4 or so, and that's why his average is around 266.
That's what it was entering tonight through 18 games. He's been a staple at the top of the lineup ever since joining the Firebirds. Here comes the 0-1 delivery. DeMarco checks his swing. He did go around, says first base umpire Tom Carey. The count now 0-2. The Vanderbilt Commodore, a young man, baseball runs in his blood. His dad, Paul, played baseball for 2 years at St. John's in New York. That's where Pat grew up, in Staten Island. No balls and 2 strikes. DeMarco trying to get something going here for the Birds. Nobody out still in the bottom of the 7th inning. 8-1 the score in favor of Brewster. And the 0-2 pitch just barely outside from Criswell. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pat was drafted in the 24th round of the 2017 draft by the New York Yankees. Decided to forego that offer and go to Vanderbilt. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Criswell delivers. DeMarco fouls it off. Stays alive at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And you got to figure that was somewhat of a tough decision for Pat. Obviously, Vanderbilt, a great collegiate baseball program, but to be drafted by the Yankees, a young man originally from Staten Island. We don't know whether or not he was a Met or Yankee fan, but it had to have weighed on his heart a bit. Criswell set again for the 1-2 pitch. Levy stands at second. Here comes the pitch. DeMarco swings over the top of a fastball for strike number 3, the first out of the bottom of the 7th, and the second strikeout of the night for Firebird hitters.
Yeah, that's been a problem for DeMarco of late. Late on the fastball, and does so just then. Criswell blows the heater right by him.
Now it's J.J. Blade, who is 0 for 3 so far. Came into the night with a .361 average. That's good enough for 3rd best in the CCBL. Still looking for his first hit of the night. And also has a chance to tack on another RBI. He currently has 6. A runner in scoring position right now. And the first pitch to J.J. Blade runs high for ball 1. Attendance was just announced here at Eldridge Park tonight on a Sunday evening. Earlier start time than normal, so that affects the attendance a bit. Still over 1,000 people here, and 1,093 heads here at Eldridge Park. The 1-0 pitch dots the zone on the inside part. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. JJ, a very smart kid, obviously attending Vanderbilt. He said if he wasn't an athlete, he wanted to be a lawyer. The 1-1 pitch from Jeff Criswell. Kicks and fires. Blade looks at ball 2 low and in the dirt. A good stop by Donovan. And also another fun fact by J.J. Blade. He can speak Russian. Not a lot of people know that about him, but he can speak Russian fluently. Of course, the World Cup in Russia right now. The country always in the spotlight for numerous reasons, as the 2-1 pitch from Jeff Criswell is into Blade, who sends a base hit to the left side. Levy will be held up at 3rd by Chris Constantine. That ball was bobbled by the left fielder. And now the bases are loaded with only 1 out, as Blade picks up his first hit on the night. So Blade does what he does for Orleans. He did waste a bat on that hit. Cracked bat, single to the left side. And now it'll be Spencer Steer with every bag occupied. 3 birds in the nest, if you will, for the Firebirds here with 1 away in the bottom of the 7th.
And Eldridge Park has been a place that Spencer has excelled. Entered the night hitting .357 here at home with all 3 of his home runs and 11 of the 12 RBI here in Orleans.
So Steer with a chance to try to cut into this lead as the ball gets away from Donovan. Levy will come in to score on the wild pitch, and the Birds pick up their 2nd run of the night. Still only 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. So when you're down by 7, you got to go baby steps. You can't hit a 7-run homer. They finally pick up 1 run. It's against the rules of baseball. Trust me, I checked. 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Still 2 runners in scoring position, and a guy with Spencer Steer that is capable of driving a ball to the gap. Here he comes. Pops one up behind first base. Giving chase is the second baseman and dropping the ball. Went off the glove. A run will score. And a tough break for Brewster off the tip of Massey's glove. Steer ran into the first baseman, but I don't think any of the umpires saw it. It should be interference.
Yeah, Ryan Erickson, the first base coach, pointing at it. Kelly Nicholson coming out of the dugout right now, pointing at it. Tom Carey just blatantly missed the call, and Kelly Nicholson is irate right now, not happy that the first baseman, Jesse Franklin, was in the way of Spencer Steer, who easily would have been on second base with an RBI.
So a blown call indeed. Kelly Nicholson's hot right now. Out there chatting with Bob Gardner, the home plate umpire. It clearly was an interference play as the first baseman, Franklin, who had given chase, he was running back towards first and clearly got in the way of Spencer Steer. The call was missed, and a tough break for Orleans. However, they do score a run on the single from Spencer Steer. And Kelly Nicholson finally will retreat from his argument, head back to the dugout with one away.
I think the argument that Skip was giving is that it blocked away, and the ump kind of responded that he would not have gotten there. So that's kind of the explanation from the ump, but obviously that's not the rule in baseball, is you have to give the runner space, and didn't do that. So it goes down as an RBI single for Spencer Steer, his 13th of the summer.
So now it's Logan Wyatt who will step in. 0 for 2, also has a walk so far tonight and has an opportunity to pick up an RBI as he hits a bouncing ball to the right side. It's a base hit for Logan Wyatt, an RBI single, as Steer will go from first to third, and the Firebird rally continues. Now 3 runs across here in the bottom of the 7th for Orleans.
Exactly what Orleans needed here off Jeff Criswell, who has been extremely effective so far for Brewster, but struggling tonight. Now 3 runs in the inning for Orleans and only 1 out. And a guy who can hit the ball out in a hurry. We've seen him already do it 3 times in his first 7 games in Nick Osborne.
Nobody warming up in the Brewster bullpen, and now there's going to be a mound visit. So it looks like Criswell has the ball as of now, and it's his game to deal with, for better or for worse. Already 3 runs across in this frame for Orleans on 4 base hits. Not out of the woods yet, still only 1 out. And Logan Wyatt steading at first with Spencer Steer at third, and you mentioned Nick Osborne, who has been red hot, will be up to the dish up next for Orleans. Just the guy you want up in this situation.
Yeah, it's exactly who you want up. He's a guy that takes a home run hack practically every swing he has. Nick Osborne has really been the story to watch the last few games. Has a good spot here with runners on the corners and 1 down. And a guy who tattooed a couple of baseballs already in this ball game.
So it'll be Nick Osborne stepping in. We'll see what he can do. He's been special so far, hitting 7 of his first 8 games for Orleans. Already in 3rd in the league in home runs with 3, and that's just through his first 7 games. A home run here, and things will get very interesting. 8-4 the score in favor of Brewster. The first pitch into Osborne. He swings away with an aggressive hack that he fouls off above the screen for strike number 1.
Yeah, and the other thing that's very interesting, if Spencer Steer were awarded second base on that could have been fielder's interference, he would be home right now, and the Birds would have another run across in the inning.
Was a big blown call, if you will, as the 0-1 pitch to Nick Osborne. Osborne swings away, just misses over the top of a fastball. He had the home run swing right there, just did not connect, and it's now no balls and 2 strikes.
And Shea Smitty, who pitched the last inning, trotted back out to the bullpen to try and stay loose, with his inning donning a few extra minutes.
Here comes the 0-2 delivery from Criswell. Osborne swings away, fouls it off, stays alive at no balls and 2 strikes. So Nicholas Allen Osborne, who has reached in 2 of his 3 plate appearances. One was a single and scored the first run of the night for Orleans. A chance to rally. Firebirds entered the bottom of the 7th down 8-1. They've already rallied home 3 runs in this inning and cut the deficit in half. It's now just 8-4. Comes the 0-2 pitch to Osborne, low and in the dirt. A good eye by Nick. Again, now goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It was Brewster who had troubles last night, up by 6 after a couple innings spoiled that advantage they had against YD. The Whitecaps trying to avoid doing that for the 2nd night in a row.
Osborne trying to pick up the first extra base hit of the inning. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Jeff Criswell. He kicks and fires. Osborne looks at a fastball inside near the hands. And Osborne's worked the count now back to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Wind blowing out to right field, so if Osborne can hit one the other way, it could blow out to the short porch and right, just 314 down the line.
We've seen Osborne hit his first home run of the season to right field, an opposite field blast. Here comes the 2-2 delivery to the Tennessee Tech player. He fouls it off over the net. It's still 2-2. And when you're talking Brewster Whitecaps baseball, obviously the poor record is one of the first things at 4-16-3. But their inability to close out games, that was evident last night. They were up 6-0 in the 2nd inning. They ended up tying that ball game. They entered the inning tonight up 8-1. Runners on the corners, only 1 out, and Nick Osborne at the dish for Orleans. Can he get the job done? Comes the 2-2 pitch. Osborne looks at ball 3 just inside, and he's worked the count all the way back full after being down 0-2, and a heck of an AB here for Osborne.
Arguably the best AB of the night by a Firebird. Was down 0-2, fought off a couple pitches, back in it now at 3-2. We know Nick Osborne sitting dead red, trying to drive a ball into the gap.
Trying to pull the Birds a little closer. Comes a full count delivery. Criswell gets the sign, kicks and fires into Osborne, who swings away, sends a ball out to center field. It'll be caught by Bishop. Tagging from third base and scoring is Spencer Steer. So it is a productive out, if you will, for Nick Osborne as he picks up another RBI, his 7th on the Suburbs so far, and it's now 8-5.
And the Birds starting to make it a ball game once again, down by 3. And now Jamie Shevchik will come out and take the ball from Criswell, who got rocked around a little bit here in the home half of the 7th.
So a nice rally out of nowhere for Orleans to at least make it respectable. And the end of the line for Jeff Criswell. 2 outs now at the bottom of the 7th inning. The Birds have scored 4 runs, in this inning, and trail 8-5 still. As we'll introduce you to the new pitcher for the Whitecaps coming up next on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park. New pitcher out there for the Brewster Whitecaps, as the Birds have already put up 4 runs in this half inning. They still trail the Whitecaps 8-5. But it's Jacob Hennessy taking over for Brewster. He, of course, started a game the last time these two teams met, and Hennessy's been pretty good so far. Just his 2nd relief appearance of the summer, a 2.53 ERA in 15 1/3 innings. And it'll be Phil Clark to try to extend this rally even more for Orleans.
Yeah, Hennessy already pitched once this summer against the Birds. Pretty much kept them off the scoreboard. They were pretty quiet all night against the Southpaw, one of 2 lefties Orleans has seen all summer. And the move makes sense when you've got a left-handed bat in Phil Clark, and Shevchik just trying to get out of this inning with the Whitecaps still on top of the Birds.
So Phil's been very effective so far, 2 for 3, 2 singles on his night. Trying to pick up hit number 3. And looking at ball 1, a breaking ball low and outside of the strike zone. To the catcher from Vanderbilt. It's been the quietest Vandy Bird so far this summer. He averages at 209 entering tonight, but he's looked much better so far in this game as he looks at ball 2 outside. Donovan held that pitch for a while. He certainly thought it was a strike. But all that matters is that Bob Gardner did not. The count now 2 balls and no strikes as Phil Clark had a good hitter's count. Comes the 2-0 pitch. Bouncing ball to the right side. Should be an easy play by the second baseman. It is, as Massey just touches the bag himself to end the inning. But the Birds finally wake up a bit offensively. They score 4 runs on 4 base hits. And the lead now for Brewster cut down to just 3. It's 8-5 as we head to the 8th inning. Here from Eldridge Park. We'll see if the Firebird pitching can keep that score as is. Up next on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Shea Smitty back out there for his second inning of relief for Orleans after working a 3-up, 3-down inning in the top of the seventh in what feels like an hour ago. The bottom of the seventh took a while. Orleans was able to score 4 runs on 4 hits and make this game respectable yet again. It's now just 8-5 as Smitty will try to keep it at that as he gets set to face 9-1-2 of this Whitecaps lineup. It'll all start with Ike Freeman, the shortstop, who is 0 for 2, but did pick up an RBI his last AB as he was hit by a pitch from Carlisle Kessler. So Freeman will get it going for the Whitecaps, just trying to extend on that lead yet again. They led 8-1, settle his last inning. Firebirds at least made it respectable last frame, and we'll see whether or not the Whitecaps can extend what they've been working on all night long. The big inning for Brewster came back in the 6th, where they scored 5 runs on 4 hits, as Smitty delivers a fastball in there for strike number 1 to Ike Freeman, the North Carolina Tar Heel. The Whitecaps looking to pick up just their 5th win of the summer. By far the worst record in the league. A strike 3 called on the inside part of the plate, and Freeman's retired for out number 1.
Smitty's now struck out 3 of the first 4 batters he has faced. A guy that struggled with command of the strike zone in the early going this season has it going tonight so far through an inning and a third out of the pen.
It'll be Dominic Canzone, the Ohio State Buckeye, to dig in. And he'll look at strike 1 on the outside corner. Smitty has looked very strong for Orleans, and that, of course, a positive sign. And in a game like this, if the score doesn't indeed hold up, you look for silver linings. If you're the Firebirds, Shea Smitty certainly is one of them as he delivers a breaking ball outside and low for ball number 1. The 1-1 delivery from Smitty is low and in the dirt. Again, now 2 balls and a strike as Shea, the right-hander from Louisville, teammates, of course, with Logan Wyatt and also with Bobby Miller, the starting pitcher for the Whitecaps tonight. Comes the 2-1 pitch. Fastball low and away. Now Smitty right on cue after the praise, falls behind 3 balls and a strike.
Throw Justin Levy into that mix as well, who came in as a pinch hitter. He'll remain in the game and play second base with Martinez shifting to short.
Bouncing ball foul. Count now goes full to the pinch hitter, Brendan Martorano. Smitty trying to work through this and come back from behind. Try to record out number 2. Time will be called. And the pinch hitter from North Carolina will readjust the batting gloves and dig back in from the right side. Brush away some dirt. Here comes the full count delivery from Smitty. A fastball that runs high, ball 4. And the Whitecaps have a base runner here with 1 away in the 8th. We mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but we'll remind you again, we'll be back on the air tomorrow night, 6:45. Coverage begins in Chatham as the Firebirds will look to take a 3rd straight game against the Anglers at Veterans Field. Of course, Chatham yet to score a run against Orleans so far in 18 innings of play. 2 3-0 shutouts. Comes the first pitch. Grounded to the right side. White will field it. It goes foul to Mike Massey. Massey, an RBI fielder's choice his last time. Also doubled earlier in the game. Second baseman from Illinois. From Palos Park, Illinois. So staying in state to attend the Fighting Illini. Comes the 0-1 delivery from Shea Smitty. Kicks and fires outside. Ball number 1. Give you some scores from around the league while we have a moment with a 1 ball and 1 strike count to Mike Massey. Smitty waits for the sign, comes set at the belt, and kicks and delivers off the foot of Massey, who will reach again for the 3rd time tonight. The Firebird pitching staff continues to struggle with command. There's now 2 aboard with only 1 out. Now we'll get to some scores from around the CCBL. Yarmouth Dennis all over Chatham as the Sox continue to roll. They lead the East by 5 points, and they are on top of Chatham 10-1 in the top of the 9th. Bourne on top of Falmouth 3-2 in the bottom of the 9th at Falmouth. Last chance for the Commodores right now. Catuit on top of Harwich. Good news if you're a Firebird fan. It's 2-1 in the top of the 9th, and Wareham and Hyannis battling. Top 2 teams in the Western Division And the Harbor Hawks, a surprise team of the league so far, beating the Gatemen 4-3. Still 8-5 here as of now, but Brewster threatening with runners at first and second, and an 0-1 count into Jesse Franklin. Franklin, the first baseman, will look at a pitch in there for a strike.
And if Orleans is going to have a chance in this ball game, they need Chase Smitty to find the control he had in the 7th. Either strike out Franklin here or try and get a double play to end the inning.
And pardon my announcement prior, it's actually going to be Chris Wright to bat right now for Brewster. He's going to bounce a ball to the left side, fielded by Martinez. The throw over to first base in time for a very impressive double play, and a big one at that for Orleans to hold the deficit at just 3. We'll head to the home half of the 8th inning. The Birds will continue to try to chip away. It'll be Aldretti, Levy, Martinez due up in the home half of the 8th. It's 8-5 Brewster on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Back at Eldridge Park, Orleans half of the 8th inning. The Birds trail Brewster 8-5. Here on a Sunday evening, the sun tucked below the horizon here at Eldridge Park right now, and it'll be Carter Aldretti, who has 1 for 3 so far, has an RBI double to his credit, and he'll try to lead things off for the Firebirds here in the bottom of the 8th. 7-8-9 due up, and Aldretti looks at a first pitch from Jacob Hennessy that dots the inside corner for strike number 1. We referred to earlier in the broadcast, Carter rocking those chrome red and white cleats. In my opinion, the coolest cleats on the squad so far is the 0-1 pitch. Aldretti looks at strike number 2, and Hennessy pounding the strike zone early on in his relief appearance. He's ahead of Aldretti 0-2.
And we saw Hennessy start at Stony Brook Field against the Birds. Not a strikeout pitcher, more of that contact, crafty lefty that's going to paint inside and outside.
Retired that final out of the last inning, and Aldretti barely stays alive on a breaking ball that apparently just missed. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, it looked like that could have been strike 3 based on the strike zone that Bob Gardner has had tonight. But Aldretti catches a second chance of life.
Trying to take advantage of it. The 1-2 pitch, Aldretti swings over the top of a fastball. Strike 3, and out number 1 at the bottom of the 8th.
The ACC Southpaw just winning the battle over the Pac-12 outfielders. Could not get around on the breaking ball on the outside part from Hennessy.
I see what you did there. Big ACC guy, Josh White, as Justin Levy, another ACC guy, will dig in. And look at ball 1 low near the shoot tops. Levy got that whole rally started last half inning as he was pinch hitting for Gazzo. Single to start, came around to score. An inning in which the Firebirds scored 4 runs. Unfortunately, they trailed by 7 when they entered the inning. Strike 1 delivered in there to Justin Levy, the right-handed batter. Levy, a very interesting goal after graduation, wants to be a strength coach. He looks at ball 2 low. He certainly has the frame to be a strength coach. He's 205 pounds, and most of it is muscle. I can assure all of you at home. The 2-1 delivery to Levy. Swings, fouls it off up over the hill here at Eldridge Park. to equal up the count at 2-2.
Yeah, he's one of the nicest guys you'll meet, but if you were a stranger walking up to Justin and you saw him in a bar or a restaurant of that setting, you probably would not want to go up to him and start a fight.
No, I don't want any part of that. No doubt about it. Comes the 2-2 from Jacob Hennessy. Levy has a good eye, looks at a fastball high and outside, and has ran the count back full. The Birds just trying to get something else going. They scored 4 runs last half inning. Still in need of 3 more. Comes the full count delivery. Levy takes ball 4, and a base runner is a good way to get it started here in the bottom of the 8th. And that means Andrew Martinez, the second baseman who's reached in all 3 plate appearances, will dig in for the Birds.
And here's a good chance for Martinez. Just do what you've done all night long. Haven't picked up a hit, but you found a way to get on base. Couple of walks, hit by pitch. Get on base, keep the line moving, and bring the tying run to the plate.
So Andrew Martinez, the young man out of Pacifica, California, swings away, fouls it off. Pacifica, of course, a suburb of San Francisco. Basically a Bay Area native. And as we talked about in his last AB, he is a gaucho, Cal State Santa Barbara. The 0-1 delivery to Martinez, another foul ball, same spot up on top of the hill. And it's quickly 0-2 as Hennessy continues to waste no time attacking hitters at his relief appearance, and that's exactly what you want from a pitcher when you're up by 3 runs with only 5 outs to go until their 5th win of the year. Hennessy's fastball at 0-2 runs high, easy pitch to lay off of if you're Andrew Martinez, and the count now 1-2.
And it's a loss if you're Orleans that if the score sticks, you're gonna head home back with a sour taste in your mouth, really trying to right the ship here in the later innings.
1-2 pitch. Martinez chases low into the dirt. Tag will be applied for the out. Martinez down on strikes. Second strikeout of the frame for Hennessy. And that'll turn it over to the top of the lineup. Pat DeMarco will dig in.
Yeah, Martinez just looked lost in that AB. Went down on just 4 pitches. Still looking for his first hit as a Bird. But it's Pat DeMarco who's due for a hit tonight. Just going to try and find a way to pass the baton to the Birds' best hitter in J.J. Baudet, who waits on deck.
So DeMarco 0 for 3. Did reach. So he's hit by a pitch way back in the first. Hennessy delivers, and DeMarco crushes that ball out to left field. Back of the wall, it is gone! Pat DeMarco says sayonara baseball. It's a 2-run shot, and the Birds pull to within 1. A big-time moonshot for Pat. It's 8-7. Don't sleep on the Birds just yet.
The Birds still chirping here at Eldridge Park in the later innings. The second homer of the season for DeMarco. It's now 6 unanswered runs for the Birds. And that's exactly what they needed. DeMarco always due for a hit. Picks up a big hit this time with a 2-run shot.
That was an absolute no-doubt shot for Pat DeMarco. And this is getting interesting here at Eldridge Park. The first pitch into J.J. Baudet is a strike. After trailing 8-1 to open last inning, it's all the way down to 8-7. 2 away in the bottom of the 8th. Baudet fouls a pitch off down the first base line. Right past the outstretched arm of Ryan Erickson. So you certainly can't say the Birds didn't fight back tonight. Would have been easy to fold in the towel. But they've now rallied off 6 straight runs. It's a 1-run game. Baudet looks at a fastball for strike number 3 to end the frame. But the Birds pick up 2 more runs on the 2-run homer from Pat DeMarco. It's 8-7 as we head to the 9th inning. Can the Firebirds pull off the comeback? It'll all start with a clean frame from the pitching staff. We'll see if they can do that coming up next on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Time for the ninth inning here at Eldridge Park. It's 8-7, Brewster on top of Orleans. Shea Smitty back out there and delivers a strike one on a breaking ball into Connor Grammas, who homered earlier in the game, his first plate appearance. The Birds just 1 run behind, and how improbable it would be if they could pull back this complete comeback. Grammas swings over the top of a fastball with an aggressive, hearty hack, and it's 0-2.
Shea Smitty got into a little bit of trouble back in the 8th, ended it with an inning-ending double play. Gonna try and toss another scoreless one here for the Birds.
Comes the 0-2 delivery to Grammas. Bounces the ball to the left side. Steer waits for the big-time hop. Throws across the diamond in time to gun out Grammas. A 5-3 put-out for out number 1.
It's exactly what the Birds needed to do. We heard what Jamie Quinn said yesterday was just to right the ship the second half of the season. They've done so in the second half of this ball game. Just need 2 more outs from Shea Smitty right here and hope the offense can pick up a run or 2 in the bottom half.
It will be the heart of the lineup for Orleans. Spencer Steer, Logan Wyatt, Nick Osborne due up in the bottom of the 9th. As Smitty delivers strike 1 on a foul tip into the glove of Phil Clark. Hunter Bishop, the batter for Brewster. He's 0 for 3. Did come around to score after walking back in the 4th inning. The 0-1 pitch from Smitty. Fastball low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And who would have expected the 2 worst offensive teams in terms of runs in the Cape to play an 8-7 game at one of the most hitter-friendly, or I should say pitcher-friendly parks in the CCBL?
Right on cue, Hunter Bishop tails up a baseball. It'll drop in front of Blood A. A 1-out single. And the 9th hit of the night for Brewster, as the Whitecaps in business here in the 9th.
So now Smitty needs to find a way, ground ball, double play, end the inning, get out of it, and hope the Birds can rally for a tally in the 9th.
Rally for a tally indeed. One Arizona State Sun Devil to another now, as Bishop stands at first and Gage Workman, who pinch hit last inning, will step in for the Whitecaps. He squares the bunt, pulls back on a wild breaking pitch that ran high out of the zone for ball number 1.
And no one warming up in Orleans' pen, so Shea, a guy that normally 1 inning, maybe 2 innings max, being pushed a little bit here to try and pick up 9 outs.
1 ball, no strikes. Smitty kicks and fires. The runner's going. The throw from Clark is there before him. They got him. A great throw for Phil Clark, who has a cannon of an arm. He throws out Hunter Bishop, and they're now 2 away in the 9th.
Assist number 8 of the summer by Phil, a fastball that missed outside through a dart to Martinez, and a fantastic tag to gun down the speedy Bishop.
Phil Clark, probably the best arms of any catcher in this Firebird roster, and he certainly showed it off right there. A great throw, and they're now 2 away as the 2-0 pitch swung over the top of for Workman. And Smitty now just 1 out away from working through yet another clean inning, and what a job he's done for Kelly Nicholson in relief. He entered this game and it was a blowout. Now it's close. Has a chance to win, perhaps, as the 2-1 pitch fouled off. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And that's kind of the help that Shea Smitty needed. Gave up that single to Bishop, but erased on the throw by Clark. Now 1 strike away from tossing another scoreless frame.
It was a 2-2 delivery. Smitty throws a curveball down the first base line. It's fair. Past the outstretched glove of Logan Wyatt. Rounding first, heading for second is Workman. And he'll have a stand-up double with 2 away. And now that throw from Phil Clark looms even larger, as it would have been an RBI. Instead, just a double.
Yeah, that was a huge, huge caught stealing that Phil Clark had, and just pays big dividends, because as you mentioned, that probably would have played another run for Brewster and given them an insurance tally, only up by 1 at the moment.
So Justin Ammons will bat with 2 away and a runner in scoring position for Brewster. Ammons is 1 for 4 so far. Singled and scored in that big-time 6th inning, an inning in which the Whitecaps scored 5 runs. Smitty trying to finish the job for Orleans here. Get them back into the dugout with a chance to win this ball game, or at least tie it, down by only 1. It's 8-7 after this ball game at a point was 8-1. An improbable comeback. First pitch into Ammons, popped up to center field. Should be a play for DeMarco. It is a play for DeMarco, and the inning is over. So 2 hits for the Whitecaps. They're unable to score a run. And we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. A chance for Orleans to tie or possibly win it. These are the guys you want up. Steer, Wyatt, Osborne. 2 up for the Firebirds as we head to the bottom of the 9th on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Last chance for Orleans. We'll see if they can finish off this incredible comeback. Trailed by 7 in the bottom of the 7th. Now it's just 1. As the heart of the order for Orleans will have a chance, and Spencer Steer looks at a fastball inside for ball number 1. Spencer so far on the night 1 for 4. An RBI single his last time up. It'll be Steer, Wyatt, and Osborne for the Firebirds. A 1-0 pitch to Spencer Steer. Back up the middle, off the ankle of Hennessy. Going to be a tough play, and Steer will reach to lead off the bottom of the 9th on an infield single, and the tying run is at first base for Orleans.
And arguably their 2 best home run threats, Logan Wyatt and Nick Osborne, due to bat here, with representing the go-ahead run with the tying run at first base.
And if you're Brewster Whitecap, all those memories of blowing leads and struggling through the first part of the season got to be flushing back into the head right now. And if you're an Orleans Firebird, you're trying to pull off a big-time comeback win in the most improbable way for the first time of 2018. A lot at stake here for both teams. The first pitch to Logan Wyatt, low and in the dirt, ball 1. Good stop by the catcher Donovan. As Steer's run means a lot, standing at first base. 8-7 the score, nobody out, bottom of the 9th inning. Hennessy comes set, kicks, fires. Wyatt checks his swing. He did go around for strike number 1. So Logan Wyatt, 1 for 3, also walked, had an RBI single his last AB. Consistently one of the best hitters in this lineup all season long. He's an everyday first baseman. The 1-1 pitch, Wyatt looks at a pitch low in the dirt. A good stop by Donovan yet again, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
It's been a while since Logan's last home run. That came in the first game of a doubleheader here at Eldridge Park against Hyannis on June 24th.
A homer here would end it. Wyatt swings away, sends a liner to center field. It's going to be caught on the run by Hunter Bishop, who had a great jump on that baseball for the first out.
Good hit ball by Logan, just right at Bishop, like you said, a tough break. But the big thing there, it wasn't a double play, and that's huge, because it still gives you a chance to bring in the tying run and take the lead on a home run.
And now it's Nick Osborne, and this is the guy you want up in the situation. Osborne's been phenomenal all season long offensively, and that'll draw a mound visit to check in on Jacob Hennessy, the left-handed pitcher. He'll be taking on the right-handed batter in Nick Osborne. Pressure mounting, and it really did come out of nowhere. This game was all but written for dead back in the 7th inning. It's now been 6 unanswered runs for Orleans. It's now just 8-7, and the tying run stands at first base. And the most dangerous hitter in the Firebird lineup, and Nick Osborne, steps in. Nick now 3 home runs, 7 RBIs on the season. And he's been extremely productive again tonight. A single, a walk, a sac fly. 3 of his 4 plate appearances. Comes the first pitch to Osborne. He low and in the dirt. They're going to appeal down to first. He did not go. Big time call, and Osborne now ahead in the count, 1-0. Osborne trying to extend on his resume of impressive accomplishments. The 1-0 pitch. Osborne was trying to end it right there. Just missed the fastball. It's now 1-1. Most likely the biggest power threat on this team. Just the guy you want up right now. Hennessy comes set. Looks back, Steer. Delivers the 1-1 pitch. Low. Stopped by Donovan. And Osborne now up in the count. 2 balls and a strike.
And the Birds closer, Aaron Oceanbine, getting loose a little bit in Orleans' pen. If they could send this game into extras here at Eldridge.
The 2-1 pitch to Osborne. Strike 2 called at the knees, and now Nick gonna have to battle. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a little bit of a risky move, but I think you got to send Spencer Steer to try and stay out of the double play. The only downside is then give them the throw him out, strike him out double play.
So Nick Osborne trying to be the hero. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Osborne swings away, sends a drive to right field. Back is Alejo. It is gone! A walk-off 2-run home run for Nick Osborne. Are you kidding me? The Firebirds rally from 8-1 down and win it 9-8 as they mob Osborne at the plate. Absolute madness at Eldridge Park, and the Firebirds pick up their first magical moment of 2018 as Nick Osborne does it yet again. His 4th home run of the summer, and the Birds rally all the way back and win it 9-8 over the Whitecaps.
Braden, it's one of those moments that could define your season. Orleans did not have the first half they wanted, playing 5 games below 500, but now after trailing by as many as 7, Orleans scores 9 unanswered runs, and who else but Nick Osborne, you are ridiculous, sir, wins it for the Birds.
Time after time he's come through for this team, and he does it in the biggest way possible. An opposite field line drive shot into the Orleans bullpen to win it in the most improbable way. And the Birds come all the way back from 8-1 down in the bottom of the 7th and win it 9-8 in what is obviously the most wild game of 2018 so far, as Osborne gets it done with a 2-run walk-off shot. He'll be talking to Eliab Gabai momentarily, but my oh my, what a comeback for Orleans.
Fantastic game for the Birds. It started off obviously on a very sour note, but it was Orleans that has the last laugh. They get all the way back. They find a way time and time again, and this team just doesn't give up. We saw it last night. We see it tonight. And in a game where Orleans really needed to pick up a crucial win over an Eastern Division foe, the Birds do just that. And like you said, Braden, the Birds have their first magical moment here at Eldridge Park.
How about 8 straight unanswered runs in the final 3 innings to walk it off? And the going gets even worse, possibly a new low for the Brewster Whitecaps, who now fall to 4-17-3. And Nick Osborne, the hero yet again, in a 2-hour and 40-minute thriller from Eldridge Park, as the Firebirds get the best of Brewster and clinch the season series. A 98 walk-off win, and as wild of a baseball game as you will ever see between 2 Eastern Division rivals.
Yeah, and you got to credit Chase Smitty. Threw up 0 after 0 after 0. He did a fantastic job for Orleans. He ends up picking up the win. It's fellow Clemson teammate, or I should say fellow ACC member in Clemson Southpaw, Jacob Hennessy, who picks up the loss, and just a phenomenal game for Orleans. Never say die. It was Jamie Quinn last night told our own Joe Catapano, we got to right the ship in the second half of the season, and boy did Orleans do that tonight.
Kelly Nicholson had a little bit of an extra step talking to him before the game. He said, hey, this is the 3rd quarter of the season. This is where it turns. Sure didn't look that way when it was 8-1 at the bottom of the 7th inning. Then the table turned, and one of the most unbelievable comebacks you'll ever see. Capped all off by Nick Osborne, who is the hero yet again. He continues to stay red hot. 4 home runs now in 8 games played. That's almost 50%, folks, if you're a math major. And he continues to absolutely ambush pitching in the Cape Cod Baseball League. He'll be joining our Eliab Gabai momentarily. the walk-off hero for Orleans, Nick Osborne with Eliab goodbye.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with the player of the game, Nick Osborne. Nick, you hit the walk-off. It was a moonshot. Walk me through that last at-bat.
I just tried to hit the ball hard. I ended up getting a good pitch to hit. Try to barrel it up. Just trying to pass the baton back to Phil, who was on deck. Ended up squaring it up and just ended up carrying. So that's what happened.
And the team was down at 1.8-1. When you have to scratch and claw your way back into a game, how much sweeter is it?
Oh man, it makes it that much sweeter when we're in the dugout. It's a third, fourth inning. We're down by a lot. With this lineup, we're never out of it. And with all the guys, we're reminded of that. And that just shows you for the future. We're never too far down to come back.
And you say with this lineup, you're never out of it. What does it say about this team when you can come back from a game like that?
Tons of resiliency. This team likes to fight, and just a bunch of bulldogs in the dugout. People who never give up, and just fight until the final play is made, and we leave it all out on the field. So every night.
Leave it all out on the field. There you go, the man of the hour. Back to you guys. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
How about that? Nick Osborne, a 2-run walk-off shot as the Firebirds shock Brewster 9-8 in walk-off fashion. We'll wind out our coverage coming up next. The winning pitcher of this absolute thriller, Shea Smitty, will be joining us at the broadcast table. We'll be right back on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park and welcome in to the Orleans Firebirds postgame show after the wildest game of the summer so far. Orleans comes all the way back from an 8-1 deficit to walk off the Brewster Whitecaps 9-8, and I'm joined now by the winning pitcher somehow after all that chaos, Shea Smitty. And Shea, you came in the 7th inning. It was 8-1, basically looked like mop-up duty. You end up getting the win. You were outstanding, 3 innings of scoreless ball out there on the bump. But what was it like in between innings, watching the offense work back? What were your thoughts when that was all happening?
I mean, yeah, like you said, our offense really got us back in the game. I mean, Phil Clark did a great job behind the plate, and down the stretch we made some good plays, throwing runners out and double play balls here and there. So just crediting our defense and Phil behind the plate doing a great job. But like you said, the offense really got rolling, hit after hit. It's just amazing how hitting is contagious, especially even at this level. You always hear that at the younger levels, but it even happens here. Hitting's contagious.
7 hits in those last 3 innings, 8 runs out of nowhere, and the Firebirds win 9-8. And of course, the hero yet again, Nick Osborne. He continues to just stay red hot. He's doing it on the mound. He's doing it in the batter's box. What's it been like watching him do this thing?
Nick came in here as a PO. Wasn't even really sure if he was about to hit, and then he got his chance and really took his opportunity to the fullest. I mean, he's been, like you said, swinging it really well. 4 home runs in his first 8 games or whatever it is? Yeah, he's swinging it great. I mean, just seeing fastballs, barreling balls up to all fields, I mean, it's just great to see, especially for a guy like Nick, who's just as easygoing as he is. I mean, you like to see that from a kid like him.
He swings for the fences almost every time, it seems, and he's been working pretty well on that. 4 home runs in 8 games, like you said, Shea. And then, this is the first game of the second half. It wasn't a great first half for this team, 8-13-1. And after a wild comeback win, this has to add a lot of momentum for this team. So what do you think it does for the psyche overall?
Yeah, Coach Skip actually talked to us before the game about how we just need to let the first half of the season go. I mean, like, we're not out of the playoff run, we're not out of a championship run or anything like that. We're still only halfway through. So just building off the good things we've done in the first half and trying to do more good things, like more consistently. And I think it's just great to see the fight in our team tonight. I mean, like you said, being down 8-1, but every at-bat wasn't wasted. And just throwing the ball over the plate, trying to let my defense work for me. Just seeing the fight in our team just shows what we're capable of doing down the stretch. So I mean, that was good to see tonight.
Well, Shea, I hate to speak for you, but I think it's safe to assume you didn't think you were going to get the win when you entered the game tonight, but that's exactly what happened as the Birds score 8 straight unanswered runs to walk off the Brewster Whitecaps. Shea, thanks so much for joining us, and hopefully we get some more wild wins like this in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, so there's Shea Smitty after another walk-off win, the first of the season, a 2-run walk-off shot for Nick Osborne, and a wild day at Eldridge Park. The Birds come all the way back and take care of the Brewster Whitecaps. I'm joined again by Josh White now. The win was crazy enough, but now you're in a spot where you just picked up 2 more points on Brewster, and it's a momentum changer in the form of a season, and now you're chasing Chatham, a team you play tomorrow night. What a difference 3 innings can make after the walk-off home run.
It's just craziness here at Eldridge Park. Like you talked about when Shea entered that baseball game, the Birds had practically 0 chance to win that. If there was an ESPN win probability, it would probably be at like 0.2, but Orleans takes the 0.2, flips the graph around, and boom, Orleans gets it done. And a team that had struggled offensively, scored the second fewest runs in the Cape, they find a way to just claw and nick their way through Brewster, and exactly what Orleans needed.
And so an unbelievable ball game will end with Orleans 9, Brewster 8. Another tough defeat for Brewster, and the first magical win of the season for the Firebirds ends in 2 hours and 40 minutes at Eldridge Park. The Birds will be back out on the diamond tomorrow night at Veterans Field as they look to build on this improbable win. Coverage will start at 6:45 with the Bird Talk pregame show, but until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. We'll chat tomorrow in Chatham after the Birds walk off the Whitecaps, 9-8, the final score. We'll talk to you tomorrow in Chatham.